pals aren't real, Amanda?
How?
Because if there was, I would have like some kind of green monkey in this chair doing my podcast job for me, and like a big elk downstairs cleaning my living room, and all kinds of stuff. It would
like
be great.
A weird fish one doing your lawn,
just blapping around, just like outside doing stuff. But no, this is the RageSelect podcast, and only I can do it. So welcome back, everybody, to the RageSelect podcast. You're on RageSelect. I'm Jeff.
I'm your pal, Amanda.
That's right.
Yay.
I'm going to put you in a ball and then throw you.
Many have tried, Jeff. Many have tried.
I like the idea that you try to capture Amanda in a Pokeball, and it just shakes and it shakes, and then it goes green, and then just like a little middle finger comes up from the top of it. It's like, fine. Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot about Palworld this week because the news
the economy is so bad even the Pokemon have to have jobs.
That's right. Oh, there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. It's so fascinating. There's a lot of controversy. But before we get to all of that, guess what I watched last week, Amanda?
Let me think. Wait. Brand spanking new? Saltburn.
From like a week ago? Oh, I watched Saltburn like over the holidays.
Okay, I don't know.
It was A24 fartsy. It's fine. I mean, it was fine. Like, did you watch Saltburn?
No. Why would I watch Saltburn?
Oh, I don't know.
I hate Jacob Elordi.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
I don't hate him, but I just don't watch his
face.
movies. Yeah.
Something about his face.
Kind of.
I watched The Marvels last week.
Oh, what'd you think?
You know what? I really liked that movie.
Nice.
Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think that I had like two problems with it. For the most part, very enjoyable. I'll get that away.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable.
Too many women. Ugh, with their powers.
I don't. I really don't give any shits about that.
It's not really believable unless there's a man.
So there were two problems that I had. The first one was that, the movie was like an hour and 49 minutes or something like that. And like, I wish they had put the other 11 minutes in to really just kind of nail down like the character motivations, because everybody kind of has their own thing. And it was like, I wish you guys had spent that extra 11 minutes and you would have just added it in to just have a couple more 30 seconds more here, another minute scene here of letting everybody kind of really turn to the camera and be like, I'm mad at Carol because she left when I was a child.
Yeah.
Like that's my motivation. The other thing is, like, I think way more endemic to the MCU is that I felt like there were three movies that I missed. Like this was, or maybe just one. Like maybe there was a second movie that I missed, or it felt like I missed, because like,
I mean, you definitely missed a television series unless you watched the Ms. Marvel television.
I didn't. But see, the thing is that Ms. Marvel out of everybody was the least. Like, she's easy to understand. She's like a superhero fangirl, and she likes that stuff. Her bracelet was a big plot point, so like I didn't know where did that come from, and like why is it a big plot point?
I don't know. It's not part of the comics.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched the series yet.
But the thing is that at the end of Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers like declares she's going to go back to Hala and do some shit, and apparently she did, and like that's the whole motivation for the bad guy, and it factors into the plot in a huge way. And there's like a lot of feelings of like guilt that she has over things that have happened, and there's all this implication that like she's been out in the cosmos having adventures, doing stuff, and I'm like, but I didn't see any of this. And like, so I don't mind if she had adventures. Like, there's one scene that's kind of this wacky thing that happens where it's like, oh, she came to this planet, she did a thing, and now Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau are like, oh, this is so wacky. Like, I didn't know that you did this. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But like the base part of her motivation as a character is the thing she did after the first movie, before this movie, and I didn't get to see it. And it's like, it's kind of important that I kind of get to see that happening, because otherwise I kind of just got to take your word for it with like one flashback and two like statements of purpose.
They're like, this had a lot of like emotional impact.
Right.
Trust me. And then you're going to have to believe me on that one.
For Monica, I felt the same, because like the beginning of that movie starts and they've got this Saber space station online over the earth, like Sword's Space Force, and they've got like the hexagon portal things from Guardians that like factors way in. There's like spaceships going in and out. Like Nick Fury is back on Earth, and Monica Rambeau apparently works for this, like in space, using her powers that she got in WandaVision. Like, I do know what happened in WandaVision.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was trying to connect. Like, is there stuff in WandaVision that would implicate
imply
any of that stuff? Not really.
It explains how she got her powers, but it doesn't explain where the space station. Where does the portal go above Earth?
Yeah, I don't know.
What has happened? That's a major thing. It's like if you didn't watch the Eternals, and the only thing you were looking in the background at She-Hulk and saw like giant Eternal like in the ocean or whatever.
You'd be like, what?
When did that happen? So there was a lot. I felt like I felt like they took way too much for granted, and that maybe there was a movie that didn't get greenlit, or it was part of a TV show or something. I didn't watch Secret Invasion, so
Secret Invasions might have some of that. I don't know. I didn't watch any of that.
Yeah, so I don't know if what I missed there, but like it's a testament that
it was still enjoyable regardless, or
it's both. It's both a testament that like those characters and the writing and the humor and the way that they connected them together and all this stuff was a great dynamic, and it was fun. On the other hand, I think that the grand emotional finale fell a little flat because we were too busy having space adventures to spend enough time, at least in my opinion, getting these characters' motivations really solidified, you know. And I don't know. I mean, I've had that problem with a lot of modern movies. It was like my biggest complaint with the Batman was that it was like, what was the motivation for the Batman? And it was like, he's so brutal that the people of Gotham fear him, and it would be better if they like trusted him as an icon. But as I've said a bunch of times before, and I know people disagree with me, that's fine, is that they do that at the very beginning of the movie, and then it comes back at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, they forgot to fill it with it. Yeah, they didn't breadcrumb it.
Yeah, there's not much there.
Yeah.
But even other Marvel movies kind of have that. Like, yeah.
Name another one. Go on. I want to hear it.
I just feel like a lot of times they don't spend enough time letting their characters be characters, as opposed to having wacky adventures and fight scenes and stuff. And like, I would gladly sacrifice some of the fight scenes. I'd gladly sacrifice 2 minutes of this fight scene and 90 seconds out of this fight scene and 5 minutes of this, random wacky thing that happens in order to get like 10 minutes of solid exposition peppered throughout the movie.
Yeah, it seems like they like I don't know. I haven't seen the Marvel, so I can't say, but I stopped watching Marvel films because it felt like they were just like sacrificing dialogue and emotional impact for
fight scenes,
for like what they can cut into the trailer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like everything feels like a scene where it's like when we've been watching a lot of older movies, like 80s and 90s, kind of older, and you'll see something and you'll be like, oh, that line's only in there for the trailer. Like but now the entire movie feels like that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is that what it means is that I watched it. It was fine. I wouldn't watch it again. It had the potential to be the best of the current phase that I've seen so far. Yeah. Because it was kind of a solid adventure, developing some characters. It didn't have any like fan service except for the after credit stinger, but like that's fine.
Those don't count. Those are meant for fan service.
But it wasn't like Ironheart shows up halfway through to join the gals, or like Gamora and Mantis are going to show up to have a little girls' night in. Just out of nowhere. They didn't feel the need to do that. And that's what's been pissing me off about a lot of the current stuff. It's just that it kind of had the same problem that I had with Multiverse of Madness, where it was like, okay, I saw where Scarlet Witch left off at the end of WandaVision, and now she's a fucking genocidal, psychotic time murderess. Yeah. What happened? Where was that movie, man?
We were watching. I haven't seen the Multiverse of Madness, but we went to eat burgers and they had it on a TV at the burger place we were at. But John's back was to it, and John has already seen it. I have not, so I'm watching with the sound off and it far away.
Yeah,
and I'm like, why is this happening? And he's like, oh, because this and that happened. And I'm like, but that didn't happen in WandaVision. And he's like, I know. And then we the scenes would go on and I'm like trying to like navigate it without the sound.
Yeah.
And it turns out you really don't need the sound in that movie because I got it pretty well.
Yeah. I don't know. It probably, you know what? As much as I'm a little bit pissy about them lifting the idea directly from Spider-Verse, Far From Home is probably the last like really enjoyable MCU thing that I saw. Or that was the one where they brought in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man villains, where they brought Willem Dafoe and
No
Way Home.
I don't know.
Far From Home was the one in Europe.
It's cute to have all the like same theme name, but then when it's time for me to know which one it is, they all sound exactly the same to me. And that's the only one I haven't seen.
That one I think is good because it actually does a bunch of stuff. I don't know. You know, I'm a modern film audience, which is why nobody should listen to me because I'm like, I don't need an origin story for Spider-Man. I don't need an origin story for Spider-Man. And then in the third one, they finally basically do the origin story for Spider-Man. And I'm like, yay, now I can care about this Spider-Man because I got to see somebody that he loves get killed. So
I think it's interesting to do it backwards considering all the other Spider-Men start with it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to earn an emotional impact. Like you're just kind of told you're supposed to feel bad about Uncle Ben passing away.
Yeah.
But like having spent time with Aunt May, it means something. I don't know.
Quantumania, that was
I didn't watch
dick.
It. I haven't I gotta be honest, I haven't watched a Marvel anything in like years.
Love and Thunder kept Love and Thunder started with the premise that it was like, you care about Jane Jane Foster, right? And I was like, no. They're like, what about the epic love story between Thor and Jane Foster? I'm like, no.
Yeah. Also, and just, you know, because I'm that kind of trash, I didn't like the Mighty Thor comic that Jane Foster's Thor is based on.
Yeah.
It was poorly written. There's a villain. It's just bad.
Anyway, boy, I've gone on for too long. Amanda, how about you? Have you seen anything?
I haven't watched anything new because I'm doing Val Kilmer films.
Oh, the Kilmathon.
Yeah, my Kilm.
The Kilm list.
Yeah,
you got your Kilm list.
My Kilm list. Yeah. I haven't watched a whole lot. I think I'm only like 4 or 5 in, but I've watched Real Genius.
That's great.
Willow, Batman Forever, and The Saint.
Okay.
I'm trying.
So you start with the good stuff.
I know, dude. Okay, so here's the thing. I keep talking to John about it, and I'm like, we got to mix in the bad ones. We got to mix in the after Tombstone,
right
before Kiss Kiss Bang Bang stuff.
Yeah,
and we keep just like, what do you want to watch? I don't know. Let's watch another one of his fantastic fucking films.
Right.
And I'm gonna end up being like stuck with all the bad ones. But it's fine. It's fine.
You get the Salton Sea in there.
I do have the Salton Sea in there.
I dated a girl one time who really liked that movie, like really was into that movie.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it.
It's weird.
It's on the list, but yeah, there's some that I just didn't put in that were like, he's in it for 1 minute.
Yeah. Is that one? Oh, is that the
he plays
John Holmes?
He plays John Holmes, Wonderland. Yeah, that's on the list.
Anyway. Well,
yeah. So, but I look forward to it, and I like Val Kilmer, and I'm already considering doing another actor afterwards. I haven't decided who yet, but Harrison Ford's on that list.
Yeah.
I was just like, because then I could just American Graffiti, and then, Indiana Jones.
Would you watch Would you rewatch Star Wars? Would you rewatch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm gonna rewatch.
Okay.
Who wouldn't?
Would you watch 7 though?
In a row?
No. Would you watch episode 7?
Oh.
The Force Awakens, because he's in there.
He is.
But
yeah. Maybe Harrison Ford's off the list.
All right. Well, let's. I tell you what. Let's talk about video games.
Let's do that.
And I tell you what. There's only one video game right now that anybody is talking about. And it's not Prince of Persia, which I started. I got past where we got, and then I was like, "Ooh, they patched Palworld on the PC. Let me try that."
Yeah.
Palworld is big.
It's huge.
It's huge. It is taking everybody by storm. For anybody who doesn't know, and actually for you because you haven't really played it.
Yeah, I don't have much experience with it.
So Palworld was announced in 2021 with that trailer that I couldn't get enough of, where it was like it looked like a Pokemon game, but then it flashed to like a bunch of Pokemon like making AK-47s with frowns on their faces, and like got real dark, and I was like, ooh, I like it. As it's gone on, it's kind of morphed a little bit into, because they made that trailer that, like, I actually read a whole article that was about the development of it, and so they made that trailer as like a proof of concept, and they were like, if we get a good response to the trailer, then we'll keep doing the funding and we'll keep making the game. So it came out. It's on Game Pass. It's on Steam. It's on Xbox. It's not on PlayStation or Switch.
Then what's the point, Jeff? Next topic. No, I'm just kidding.
It is like, okay, so it's Pokemon. So think Pokemon Arceus, right? Where it's like real-time Pokemon, where you like you have to line up your Pokeball and throw it. Get a guy, you get the Pokemon, and then you hit a button to throw them out. Except I think I've been thinking a lot about, like, because like everybody else, I'm kind of way into this.
Right.
Why is this different? Anyway, sorry, I should finish explaining. So you got that part. It's also a survival game. So you've got to like feed yourself. You've got to like mine rocks to build structures. You've got the occasional wild pal that will wander in that you have to defend yourself. So you need like a pointy stick or bow and arrow, or, you know, eventually it does take a long time, because the whole tagline was it's Pokemon with guns, right? I have not gotten a gun. I've been playing for like 20 hours and I'm not trying to get a gun as hard as I can, but it's way down the list. Like, you got to do a lot to get to it.
Yeah.
So the big thing here becomes the thing I think is really interesting is the moment you discover, you can find this in part 2 of Matt and I playing it, that once you capture pals, you can make them do that work that you don't want to do. So instead of having to mine wood, you can put a wood chopping pal in your camp and they'll chop the wood, and then you get one that'll pick up the chopped wood and put it in a box so that you can use it.
Starting
yes
a Pokemon sweatshop right now?
Everybody is saying this. It's funny. There's all this like weirdness.
Well, because it's like everyone used to joke that Pokemon is just dog fighting.
Yeah.
So you just add, and now they can have jobs, and it's like, great. So they're either dog fights or sweatshops.
Well, if they weren't in my camp, they would be getting murdered, because they do kill each other out in the world sometimes. Not all the times.
Okay, and if a bear isn't in the Russian circus, it would just be out getting beat up by other bears.
Also, I gotta say that you are now the third person to come at me. I know. I know. But there's a lot.
You know, I understand that pals aren't real, right?
There's a lot of this floating around the internet, and again, I'm like, you know that pals aren't real, right?
Yeah.
Like, my dog isn't.
Oh, are people like genuinely like, this is promoting sweatshops or something?
There is both an animal abuse and an anti-capitalist like streak. It's not the biggest streak, but there's a lot of people out there that are like that you know.
If you're anti-capitalist, and I'm just not to be like real shitty, but if you're anti-capitalist, like, we're not like super pro-capitalist here, but like, if you're anti-capitalist, you probably shouldn't be playing any video games, to be honest.
No.
Like,
also,
we'll get into news about these companies, and it's
also, you know, this is not the first game where you capture monsters and make them do stuff that they wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't even the first game where you kill animals for their resources and use those resources to survive.
Is this something they don't want to do? Like, you're not like whipping them to do a thing. Do you just go please do task, and they go, yeah, I'll do that.
What I found is that I care whether my pals are happy. Like, they have a sanity meter, and if it gets low or if they get injured or something
you're like,
bad
hey,
happens,
take a break, go on vacation, pizza party, time for
pizza for I make medicine for them. I give the medicine to them so that they are not hurt anymore. I built them saunas and little places where they can eat berries and a little house. I put a roof on the place where they sleep.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I have to say is that, like, the question at this point is, like, why is this such a big deal? Because when you look at it, or when you actually go play it, like, it plays. It's made by a very small team. It was made rather ineptly.
Yeah.
It is not a very well polished game. It's got a ton of bugs. It's got a ton of janky bullshit.
Is it out, or is it still in beta?
It is in early access.
Okay.
So it came out in early access. So here's what I can say is that I don't care for Pokemon because one of the reasons I had to think about it, and I was like, why do I like this game and I don't really like Pokemon? Right? I got monsters fighting monsters. I'm catching monsters. I'm putting them on. Like, okay, I'm making them work. But you know what? Pokemon doesn't have a hunger meter, so I don't have to make them work. What is it about this that makes it any different? And I realized it today when I was playing the game, and I was like, because I'm trying to go capture this level 18 legendary Pokemon, and I'm throwing out my guy, and he is attacking the boss, and I'm shooting the boss with a crossbow, and that boss is shooting me, not my pal, and I have a health bar that if it goes all the way to the bottom like Minecraft, I'm going to die and drop all my shit that I've spent hours and hours making. So there are like stakes to getting in a fight with a Pokemon, whereas the stakes in Pokemon is your Pokemon gets knocked out, you take it to a center, etc. And I think this, like, there's been a lot of articles about, like, you have a lot of people who played Pokemon when they were children who are now full-on adults and do not want to play a game that is rated E for everyone, or not even rated E for everyone, but skewed towards, like, a 4-year-old can play this and there's not going to be any objectionable content in it.
And even, I guess, beyond that, it's not that Pokemon is too childish or anything. I mean, it is like it,
I gotta think it is, but
skewed too young. But I think the problem is just that it never did more than what it does.
That's another thing. Yeah,
like it's the same game that we played when we were children, and it doesn't have to be more violent. Why aren't the Pokemon fucking in this one? Like, it's not necessarily that, but more just that the graphics got better, but it's still the same game. Like they add a little more detail, but it's still the same game.
That is a good point.
The only, like, a big part of why we liked Arceus or Arceus,
whatever, I don't know. I don't
remember. But the reason I think we liked that one more than the others is because it was like focused more on the Pokedex instead of the, like, fighting, and it gave us a taste of something different.
It also was one of the first ones that I played where the fighting and the exploration were not disconnected. Like you saw the Jigglypuff, and then you ran up and you threw your guy out to start in real time attacking them. And then when their health got low, you pull out a Pokeball, you line it up with the guy, you throw it, and then you catch them.
It felt more like involved, like you're more a part of it than the other ones. And I think it's a big chunk of it is just that it feels like Pokemon's the same game. Or if it's not, it's literally a Pokemon Snap where it's an entirely different game.
Or the like dungeon or
you know, they have all the, like, little mini, like, phone game ones too. And it's like, yes, those are different, but they also are, like, not Pokemon. Like, it's not within the world. It's not, they just never change it.
I'm also going to throw this out there because I think that, like, I mean, I don't think that we have, like, rabid Pokemon fans that are going to be coming at me, but I'm just straw manning the internet, right? I'm talking to the internet, not, like, coming at anybody. But, like, I played Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with you.
Yeah.
That game ran like shit.
Yeah.
It looked like shit. It was like it was below the level of what I would consider acceptable, especially considering I played Super Mario Wonder and it played like a fucking dream.
Yeah.
I played Metroid Prime Remastered and it looked like dynamite.
Yeah.
And I played this game and it was like, if your game ran like that, you needed to back it up and be like, we need something, we need smaller areas, or we need to do something to make this thing run above 15 frames per second.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not acceptable as an experience to be like, and so this is all on Unreal Engine 5, and so it all runs great. The colors, it's got the whole lighting system from there. It looks great. Like, the pals are bright and
they're super cartoony.
Yeah. So, and then not just that, but then it also has like some elements from because they're just doing it has some elements from Breath of the Wild where like you've got a little glider that you can glide down place, you can climb up any wall. It's got like a little heat cold thing where if you're going into extreme areas you need to get the right clothes for it.
I mean, it's like the right idea, taking the pieces from this, the pieces from that. And the whole thing started essentially as a joke of like Pokemon, but you give them guns, and then it just went from there. And it sounds like they literally went, okay, well, what else can we take the idea of and put in? They did it so blatantly.
Sure.
Or at least it seems. I haven't seen anything from the like Breath of the Wild based stuff, but even John was telling me about it when he played. And
it's so that it brings up we're gonna get to this because we have to get through this one particular story, but like one of the things that's interesting about it is it does bring up an interesting question because all right, the thing happens on the internet. People are really excited by it, inevitably backlash, and then of course backlash to the backlash because that's what's going to happen. So I was thinking a lot today about like a lot of people online are just like, well, I mean, they just ripped off Ark Survival Evolved, which apparently is like the that's the one with dinosaurs, and apparently it's got the same like survival mechanic where you're using animals to do stuff. So it's like, oh, they ripped off Ark and then they put a Pokemon skin on it. They threw some Breath of the Wild in there, and so it's just a rip off. And it's like, I don't really care. Like, I don't care as long as it's fun. I don't give a shit whether somebody is infringing upon Nintendo's intellectual property rights, as long as like
this is gonna sound like a far off thing, but you'll get me real quick.
Yeah.
As a Saints Row fan,
say no more.
Like, sometimes it's okay to rip off because sometimes you rip off but then make better, or rip off and then show a new idea. And this could very well have the potential to be what Minecraft is not a ripoff, but Minecraft had a very long development time of like it was in beta for like years, and people were playing it and being popular like YouTubers before it even launched for everybody else. And this to me feels like that. Like the talking they're doing of this is it reminds me of that. So if they continue to develop it and make it work and make it popular and change things up here and there, and like as time goes on redevelop, it has the potential to be something like a Minecraft. Maybe not as wildly successful, but like that, it ends up being something where everyone just sort of grew up with.
Yeah. No, I agree. So first off, anybody, I recommend, there was a translated blog from their website where these chuckle nuts that made this game.
Yeah.
They I don't like to say this because I feel like a lot of times it minimizes like people's hard-earned like accomplishments.
Yeah.
But like, boy, did they kind of hit the jackpot about just like, they made a couple of games before this. The last one they made was called Craftopia. It was all assets they bought off of the Unreal Store. They put it together in a kind of an interesting way because it was like a little crafting. I think it was like a vehicle game, but like they didn't do anything specific. So, they have this blog where they talk about this stuff where like the first PAL took the guy like a full day or like 100 hours of creation to make. And then he was like, oh, I want to make 100 of these. Like, this is not feasible. And so they like hired somebody to come in and they were like, why the fuck are you making it like that? Where's the skeleton rig on it? And he was like, the what? And they were like, yeah, to animate a thing, like instead of hand animating all of their actions by hand, you put a skeletal rig in there and then you just like.
This is why you hire people who know their shit. Otherwise, you end up doing 100 hours for one dude.
Yep. That was an interesting one because apparently that guy like interviewed with them and they were like, nah, bro. And then like several months later, he came back and he was like, hey, I just want to let you guys know I'm still looking for work. I don't know if you guys have changed anything. And they were like, wait a minute, that was the guy that knew what the skeleton thing was. Yes, get him in here. Like this whole thing is run like a fucking early 2000s internet project.
Yeah.
Like
this should have been on Newgrounds.
Like apparently that guy I think was like a part-time convenience store clerk that was like 18 or something like that.
Amazing.
They were making the game originally in Unity, and then a guy, like a senior developer, came on and he was like, well, I don't know how to use Unity. I program in Unreal. And so the guy was like on his blog, he's like, well, we could like not hire him. We could hire him and make him learn Unreal or a Unity, or we could convert this entire project to Unreal and start over from scratch. And this guy is really good, and he's willing to work for pretty cheap. So we're going to do that.
We'll do whatever he wants.
We're going to throw the first 4 months of development, just start over from square one.
Yeah.
He has this insane thing about the finances, where he talks about how like as long as your bank account isn't zero when audit time comes, like you're not bankrupt yet. So like if it's getting close, you just have to like either cut down on expenses or just borrow a bunch of money right before the audit time for your company comes, so that you have some amount of money in your bank account. And he's like, I think I did the numbers and I feel like I could do that for 2 years before we were just completely, I'd leveraged everything in my life and couldn't do any of this development anymore. So
do you want to make a game for RageSelect, Jeff? I've got some ideas.
I don't have any money. Well, that's not true. I have some money, but not enough money. Anyway, this thing was really done on a fucking wing and a prayer.
Yeah.
Like this was not Nexon or some like cynical Chinese company, or even an indie American company that was like, oh, I'm going to make my own Pokemon with machine guns. Like that was kind of the pitch for it, but they really were flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah.
And the idea that they managed to put out something that they managed to get just the right number of things smashed together. It's a testament to the idea that like they just ripped off the best parts of a bunch of stuff. Nothing in this game is new. Throwing the ball to hit the Pokemon, that's Arceus. Having to keep yourself alive, Minecraft, or any of the hundreds that have come since then. Like, they literally, the UI elements for if you're too cold are like the ones from Breath of the Wild. Like it looks like it's from, like they took a screenshot.
Just gonna take that and it's mine now.
It's just no one has put all these things together, and by putting them all together and then wrapping it in something that is similar to but legally distinct from a beloved property, you got something. You got a stew going, baby. Like
that is literally how things are made.
Yes.
Like it really bothers me when people like just rip off, and it's like, okay, just so we're clear though, elevator pitches for movies typically are, it's just this movie with this movie wrapped up into it or whatever. Like 9 times out of 10, everything is a rip off of something else.
Yep.
And the innovation comes from how you present it or how you put two elements together.
Yep.
You get your peanut butter on my chocolate and your chocolate on my peanut butter, and all of a sudden you have something that both existed beforehand. That doesn't mean it's a ripoff.
Yep.
I mean, this is a ripoff, but in a good way.
Well, no, I actually, I was thinking of exactly that metaphor.
Yeah.
The idea of just like, well, I took something that existed that was really good and I put it with something else that already existed but was really good. And it turns out that when you put the two of those together, holy shit, this is like 3x as fun as either one of those two things by themselves. So that's a story, and it has done very well. Very well. Oh, also, this, I think I mentioned this before, but this is just, I got these news stories up in a specific order. Part of this, too, I think, is the fact that there are a lot of people, and whether this is legit or not or whatever, a lot of people who are like, I have been asking for Game Freak to do something, anything with Pokemon for 20 years, and they've just been doing the exact same thing. Here, would you like this?
Yeah.
Would you like this?
There you go.
Would you like this peanut butter? More peanut butter, sir? Sir, would you like some more peanut butter?
Very much, yeah. Game Freak is very like 6 new Pokemon, and we're like, neat, but like, what else?
Yeah.
And they're like,
what if Tekken was Pokemon? And I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting, but it was a Wii U game.
Yeah. It's always very like, it feels like they're just afraid to step away from what made them successful, but that is going to, in turn, make them less successful.
Let me show you my YouTube numbers.
It hurts.
So yeah, but then there's, of course, then I spent a lot of time in a lot of subreddits recently and on Twitter looking at this stuff.
That sounds dangerous. Both of those sound really dangerous.
It's really bad. So then, like, the extreme version of that is like, lol, Game Freak's going out of business and we're fucking eating your lunch and like, see what you get for ignoring my cries at you for years and years. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's back it up there a little bit.
I think there's plenty of room for both to exist.
Absolutely.
I just think, like, what a great I mean, honestly, if Game Freak was like, you know what? We're going to rip them off and we're going to do a Pokemon, like, probably no guns, but like with the rest of it, the survival part of it, like that's what we're going to do.
Even better.
Good. Yeah.
Great. Do it.
Good. That shit bothers the fuck out of me. I have a business idea and I told my friends about like my idea for what I want to do. And they were like, you should not like be public about it until you're ready to do it. And I asked why, and they were like, "Well, no, because people will steal your idea." And I was like, "Good, I want people to do this. I want it to exist. That's why I have to do it because I want it to exist."
Yep. Okay. Now we're really in trouble time-wise.
Oh, shit.
Palworld sold 8 million copies in the first 6 days on Steam.
Damn.
That's not Game Pass. That's not like consoles. That's just straight up just Steam. 8 million. They kept putting in.
They have enough to buy that to get that one guy away from working part time from the convenience store.
Yeah, no, like,
that's enough money, man. You could go full time.
I did the math, and it was like, it's on sale for $26.99. It's normally $30, but like at $30, 8 million copies is $240 million.
Holy fuck,
like
dude.
that's
Can
enough
you
to be like.
Imagine if we made a shitty RageSelect game.
They made $240 million.
Yeah.
I looked up.
You guys would never hear from us again.
I looked up how much Star Citizen has raised, and they've raised like $670 million over the entire time that they're done, and this is like a third of that in the first week it was out. I mean, obviously.
Not including anything else. And
taxes
sales
and 30% goes to Steam or 20% goes to Steam or whatever that is. Like, but the thing is, again, we're also not factoring in Game Pass. Yeah. So there's probably even more there.
We're also not factoring in the future possibility of merch.
True. Oh, people are already knitting their own.
I bet.
Their own little sheeps.
The only thing I've seen is John played it, but I was reading or something, and so I wasn't really looking at the screen. Yep. And at some point I look up, there's nothing else going on, and there's just a hill and one fucking sheep rolling down the hill. And I'm like, I don't know what this game is, and just went right back to what I was doing.
So the big question here is, are these guys going to get sued? From Game Freak.
I feel like if they would have, it would have happened already.
So this is up in the air, but the things, first off, because we don't have time to go into it too much.
There have been plenty of Pokemon rip-offs as far as like characters that look Pokemon-ish.
Yeah. First off, Japan has different copyright laws than we do. They're both harsher and more lenient, but they don't have statute. Like, this stuff gets decided one case at a time instead of being like, here are the rules for copyright infringement. The CEO of the company, who is like, it's not a problem, we've already checked, we've talked with lawyers, like, this is not a deal, this isn't a big deal, this isn't a problem.
They're not concerned. Now that doesn't mean that it's all hunky-dory, but the thing is that
I think that there is a consideration that doesn't come up with a lot of like. You remember when they shut down that fan Pokemon game? It's called Pokemon Uranium.
Yes,
that people made like years ago. The thing is that this isn't called Pokemon.
Yeah, that's totally different.
And it's also sold 8 million copies. And like at that point, you have to start asking yourself, like, unless this is an imminent legal threat to the Pokemon copyright, which it doesn't seem to be because they're not infringing upon your name or even really your likenesses at that point because they're like, again, legally distinct. We'll get into that. Can you afford to engender this much bad will for people by being the people that shut down the hottest thing to come out right, at the beginning of the year?
I mean, the whole gameplay is different. So, I mean, like, enough of the gameplay is different that you can't be like it's a straight rip of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like if you did anything, it would just be the design of the pals.
Yes.
And they don't corner the market on cutesy animals.
So
like they don't own that. You know what I mean? Like some of the designs you kind of see, but in the sense that it's like similar art style, but that's not the same as straight ripping.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a Twitter user that did this whole thing of like taking the models from Pokemon and then the models from PALs and lining them up and showing that they are very, very similar in a lot of cases. There was also a second person, let me see if I can find this thread, that went through and did like this thread on Twitter about like showing pals and then showing like them side by side with Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, they clearly took inspiration from specific Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's denying that.
I think that the internet is not thinking straight because I think there's a difference between
Hang on, you thought there was a point in time when the internet was thinking straight?
I think that this argument is the internet not understanding that like ripoff is a social thing, not a legal thing. Like in order to like take one of these cases to court and actually get a thing where it's like, oh, you've got to shut down, you have to prove a really high bar that like someone is going to look at these two things and be like, I don't know the difference. Palworld, that's a Nintendo thing, right? Like that they're going to be, you have to prove that they are going to be like confused, that it's going to confuse the market and make people think that they're buying a Nintendo property when they're buying a thing. So like, they're just like, oh, you just took Jigglypuff and you put like a tail on it and you changed its color and you gave it angry eyebrows. And it's like, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. This is the fucking Aqua Teen Hunger Force with the mohawk and the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that is that ripoff may make people mad at it in a cultural context or from a social context, but it's not a legal context.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if people are mad at it from a social context, but it still sells 8 million fucking copies, then it doesn't matter anymore. Like the little fox from Tunic is wearing Link's outfit, right? But you can't go after, like, you can't just say, we own everybody with a green tunic.
Yeah.
Like we get mad at people when they try to exercise that legal power too far.
Yeah.
And for this case, like, not like I made my own Pokemon and it's exactly the same, but like you have to specifically go after the art style. And Jesus, that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like that's really hard.
There's enough swapping of things. I don't know why this whole argument reminds me of Vanilla Ice talking about Under Pressure.
Yeah. Yes.
The little ding 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 ding.
It's
ding.
not right.
That ding, that little ding.
Yeah.
That makes all the difference. It's like that's what this all sounds like. I think they change it enough. They change it enough that it's like what it's an homage to, but it's not the same. The powers are swapped often. Like it's not.
Homage is not illegal, and neither is parody, which you could say that this is technically a parody as well.
Yeah, and the gameplay is different because it's incorporating several other games to do that. I'd be
willing to bet that another thing is that it's not on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon exists in one fucking place.
Yeah.
Like,
would it be kind of interesting if it ended up on the Switch at some point?
I don't think the Switch can run Unreal Engine 5.
That's honestly, you know. What about the Switch 2 or whatever?
It runs like ass on my Xbox.
Yeah.
The Xbox runs like total ass. Okay, we got a new format, 45 minutes. We're just about out of time, so we're going to lightning round through the rest of these.
Oh, hell yeah.
The former legal chief for the Pokemon Corporation said that, quote, that Palworld, quote, looks like the usual ripoff nonsense that I would see 1,000 times a year when I was chief legal officer of Pokemon, unquote. If that is true, I've never seen anything that was, I mean, maybe they were going after stuff before it came out, but like, that seems... This whole thing is, it's just like, come on, guys, just fucking like leave it alone. There's no reason for you to come out here and just be like, fart noise. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, it's fine.
It was discovered on day one that apparently you can catch people in the pal spheres.
Oh my god!
And then make them work with the pals in your place.
Hilarious.
Because it seems like they're just enemies like everything else.
Yeah,
and then if you could hit them with the sphere,
you know,
boom.
It's fair is fair.
You can break them. Cartel guys come in.
So when I said I was a pal, it was a possibility.
Possibility.
A palsability.
Palsability. There was a question about whether the pals were made via AI, which is fucking stupid. But anyway, this came because BuzzFeed, I think a few years back, did a thing where they AI generated a bunch of Pokemon, and then the guy, this CEO of this company, like was like, oh, this is really interesting, and reposted it on Twitter, like looking at the designs, like, I don't think you could use any of these, but you could probably use them as a base for something else.
Yeah.
And people are like, that's what he did. And then it's like, well, okay, but you need like an additional like proof.
Yeah. That's what he did.
So yeah.
Fucking the internet is so funny.
Also, apparently they did make a game that was, they made an interesting party game that was like, everybody uses AI to generate a picture, except for the imposter who has to try to suss out what the prompt for everybody else was.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
That's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, like I'm not mad at that.
It's like he said he liked to post with AI Pokemon, and they made a game that has some kind of AI in it. They use AI to make these Pokemon, and it's like, I don't want to live.
Wasn't there an AI Pokemon ripoff, and it had like NFTs, and it would AI generate an NFT?
Yes, and that was straight up Pokemon.
Yeah,
that was like,
and that was straight
Pikachu.
up. Yeah,
like
they were like AI generated Pikachu, and that's the only prompt. It was just generate a Pikachu.
Also, somebody
I did hear about this.
Somebody did make a mod. They made a mod where they ripped a bunch of assets out of Pokemon and they modded them onto the pals and the characters in Palworld, and Nintendo shut that shit down real fast.
And this is why I think Nintendo is not going to sue the company, the game, because they definitely have eyes on it.
Yep.
So,
and last but not least, in order to that's a great segue, thank you, Amanda. The Pokemon company did make an official statement basically saying, we know this is the thing we're going to investigate, we're going to look into it, make sure nothing bad happened. The consensus on the internet for this statement is that salty Pokemon fans have been snitching to the Pokemon company that Palworld exists, and this is them being like, yeah, man, we know.
Yeah.
We were aware of this way before you were.
They've probably shut down more games than you even knew existed, so they always have their eyes on stuff like this.
Yeah, and that's it. That's Palworld.
Hell yeah.
I like it. I think I'm going to spin up a server for the Discord.
I was just going to ask if you can play with other people.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the PC, I think you can get up to 32 people on one server.
Oh, hell
and you can do like boss raids and stuff. Oh, actually, there was one more story, and that is that they put out a roadmap saying where they were going to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, priority number 1, fix all the fucking bugs.
Yeah. Well, good.
And then like number 2 was like smoothing out a few things. And then as far as going beyond, they want to add PvP. They want to add new areas. They want to add different stuff and new mechanics and stuff. But it's very heartening to the video game community that it's like your first priority is fix what's currently going on, because man, that game, like, my pals get stuck in trees. They will starve to death in trees. They will just get on top of a tree and then cry. And I'm like, Dolmon, get down! Come down here!
Happens to the best of us.
Yep. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. But when we come back, we're going to have more news. And Amanda, we have more news.
More news. Still?
Yeah.
We're not over with that?
I'm afraid there's a little bit more news.
I
feel
like a pal that got stuck in a tree.
I'm going to thank you to just read news.
Help! Help!
Let's see. This was a great transition from the last story, but now we're after a break. Nintendo is switching off 3DS and Wii U services on April 8th.
Aww.
So
goodbye,
April 8th,
old friends.
Yep. You'll no longer be able to go online and play stuff. I believe the stores are already shut down, but you won't be able to go online with either of those two things, except for one app. Can you guess what app will still work on the Wii U and the 3DS even after the shutdown?
I don't know.
The Pokemon Bank.
Oh, yeah.
Because that shit is allowing you to transfer shit from your Game Boy, original Game Boy, all the way to Pokemon Violet and Scarlet.
Yeah, that's fucking nutty.
I'm glad.
I respect it, yeah.
I'm glad I never got into that shit, because the idea of just like, I lost the Pokemon I had when I was 4. I'd be like, that can happen? Why are you doing that? Throw that Pokemon away, my man. Like,
that's an expired Pokemon.
Yeah.
You gotta get a new one, a fresh one.
Like, isn't it just like level 6,000 at this point?
Right,
like,
yeah.
I don't know how that works.
My Pikachu is a god now.
Like, what is the difference between bringing your Pikachu from Pokemon Red into Pokemon Scarlet? They didn't have like face markings or anything.
Yeah, no. They all had tattoos. They've all become emotionally connected to me, and I don't want to start from scratch.
I can see that. Well, also you can you can name your Pokemon.
Yeah.
So it's like that. This stuff is getting shut down. That's a thing that happens. I wish there was a little bit more focus on. I really wish that like Nintendo or one of the places that does this would just come out with a statement being like, we have a department to like archive these things that you'll no longer be able to like purchase or download or whatever, and they're not just getting set on fire and thrown in the garbage can.
Yeah.
So speaking of things that have been set on fire and thrown in the garbage can, the day before is offline. It is completely and totally gone and done. I don't know how much you've been around for this particular controversy.
I don't know if I've been around it at all.
Okay, so there was a game called The Day Before. It was at one point last year the most wish-listed game on all of Steam.
Wow.
It was like supposed to be a zombie MMO survival game where you could like get online with your friends and you would like drive into zombie-infested cities together and scrounge for materials, and then build like outposts and do stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There was a whole saga where they didn't register The Day Before trademark, and there was a Korean like calendar app that they had to fight with. Like,
I think I remember that.
Yeah, they got DMCA'd off of Steam.
Yeah.
The game came out, and it was total garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 4 days after it came out, the company announced that they were going to try to give away. They were going to try to refund anybody who wanted a refund. They, as a company, were shutting down. And
wow,
the game
they
was
were
not
like,
gonna
"This was a lot harder than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
We don't want to do it anymore."
There was also a lot of shady shit. Like they were letting like fan volunteers like work on the game, like do asset work for no money and things like that. Like it was. We got done talking about how the Palworld guys like squeaked by the seat of their pants, and this is like the goofus version of that, where it was like their funding was in a weird position, and like, and also it turns out that they are salty little bitches.
Yeah, why? Salty about what?
They put out a tweet where they basically said that the entire reason the game didn't work was because there was a, quote, hate campaign, unquote, orchestrated by, quote, bloggers, unquote, that shit all over the game.
You know, the bloggers.
Yeah. They pointed to the fact that some people messaged them. And they were like, I kind of liked the game. And it was like, yeah, man, people always say that. Like, people, and
they said, thanks, Mom. We really appreciate it.
Right.
And
people like, I don't know, like, I like Aliens Colonial Marines. I think it's a laugh riot. It's the funniest game I've ever fucking played. It's stupid. But like, you know, what was that super disastrous WWE game that was like was it 2K22 or something like that? That was the one where everything was all fucked up and the character models were
set out. It was like 21 or 22. I can't remember.
I'm sure there were people that were like, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Like
it was so bad that they took a year off.
Yes. Sort
a
of
2K game. Yeah, well, they had that other
It was
not
like a little
2K, but it was
toyetic
that doesn't count.
arcade game.
But they took a 2K break.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, they put out this statement basically saying like it was the internet's fault because they were so mean about our video game.
It was the internet's fault.
That's never stopped a game before.
Nope.
A lot of people watched that movie Bright in spite of the fact that it was apparently total garbage.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a thing. And then they deleted their tweet. Like, I think it's just
they're like, the bloggers are coming after our tweets now.
I think that the people that work here should take a break and maybe go like build a house together or like
touch grass a little.
Yeah, I think they need to get offline.
Hand on grass action.
A little hand on grass action. I actually didn't play this game because it came out in the middle of a bunch of really cool games, and I was like, I saw the reviews that it was a total dumpster fire, and I was like, these days, like for the most part, if there's a choice between playing something that we're probably gonna like and playing something that's like total garbage, I usually go for the one that we're gonna like.
Yeah, unless we're gonna have a lot of fun with the garbage.
True.
Like we already know we're gonna have a lot of fun with that garbage.
Absolutely true.
This game makes me think of like the you'll get one or two very vocal people being like, why didn't you play this? You should have played this. How come you guys didn't play this? And then we don't play it, and then not even that 6 months, but like a month later, nobody even remembers its name.
Sure.
And it's like, well, I remember when it was like your whole world for like 2 weeks, and then acted like we were assholes for not playing it.
I mean, not to just keep going back to the first part, but like I actually am curious about the staying power of Palworld because it is a kind of an empty world right now, and there's a lot of like it's a really good concept, but the question is always like a flashy concept can work or it can run out of steam and then you can like
there's one Fortnite and a million ripoffs of Fortnite.
Yep. So but yeah, these guys they did not do their best, and they just don't. Let me turn this into something constructive. If you are going to go down the indie game route, or if you're going to do anything like internet related, and you know that you're the sort of person that will clap back on Twitter, you hire somebody to take over that Twitter.
Yeah.
Do not look at it. Don't even look at it. You just hire somebody to deal with that. A professional person who looks at nasty tweets, who's not directly, they're like, your game is like having my dick set on fire, and they can read that. And
I 100% want to make whatever game make somebody say your game is like having my dick set on fire.
And then you say, how are the tweets, Nancy? And she's like, they've got some concerns. We might need to tone the fire effects of the game down a little bit. Anyway, good riddance to bad rubbish. Fuck off, you idiots.
Deuces.
Yep. Speaking of idiots that need to fuck off, I didn't normally think I would say this, but the Ryu Go Gato, the Like a Dragon, the Yakuza developers can fuck right the fuck off.
Oh, really?
This week we found the news that the new Yakuza game, Infinite Wealth, one in Hawaii, is coming out. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So it's a full-priced, as of right now, a full-price game. It's $70, and there's an $85 collector's edition, and there's like a $110 like platinum edition, right?
Okay,
bunch of extra stuff. New Game Plus is only available in the $85 and $110 edition. So the base game doesn't have New Game Plus.
Wow.
Now, I want to make a brief charitable argument about this because I had a news story like 2 months ago where the developer was like, if you tried to sit down and play this game like in one like fell swoop, you would have to go to the hospital because it's so long and there's so many things in it. There's so much to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can say, like, I am not in a hurry to play Baldur's Gate 3 again because after I play a 120-hour video game, I'm like, that was fun. Maybe in 10 years I will look you up again and see what happened in the meantime.
Yeah.
And I'll just read the stories. I'm not going to like go back and start a game that long over again. I know people do that.
Yeah.
But my instinct when I finish an 80-hour Yakuza game is not to just go like again.
No.
But by the same token, that is not a feature that has traditionally been a charge for monetized, put into a different package. So
that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it's kind of craptacular. and it's kind of arbitrary. Like nobody else. I feel like I've never seen a developer suggest this.
Now that you've seen one,
yeah, probably.
I mean, even if it's bad, even if they go, okay, you know what, you guys are right. Psych, psych, psych. We're kidding. It put it in the world.
They put it in the world.
You know what I mean? And video games are like the worst about it, where they're like, what if we charged them to push A? And then it's like, well, nobody's going to want that. And then every video game that does it is going to be like, everyone's going to hate it. And then it's still going to be like,
yeah, but
what about those
money?
Yeah. But if it does work, you make extra money, and it's like, will you stop holding your fucking customers upside down and shaking the change out of their fucking pockets?
Maybe this is a scenario where it's like, we need to fire your community manager, and you need to deal with the people like this on Twitter because you are too insulated from the people who are being like, why, man? I bought the shoes. Give me the fucking laces. Like, what is wrong with you?
Lord.
Yeah. And that sucks too, because that studio generally provides, like, in my opinion, very well put together games for a good price.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed most of the Yakuza games I've enjoyed all the Yakuza games I played. And so it's just really weird to just see this one thing.
Yeah, just get a little money hungry.
There's a weird kind of spin-off thing about this, though, where one of the people that's complaining about it is there's this YouTuber called Yong Ya that does like video game news and commentary and stuff, like just sits in front of a camera, says the news, tells his opinion. That's crazy. I don't know who would listen to that.
Yeah, sounds stupid. People do that.
He really wanted to be a voice actor, and the Sega and the team like let him do the voice acting for Kiryu Kazama, the English voice acting for Kiryu Kazama in like the last game, the man who erased his name, and then in this game, and everybody fucking hates it because he's got a higher register, and that character is very much a kind of like a fucking like
he, like in Japanese he's very rude, and then he's in English he's Mickey Mouse?
Well, no, but it's
boy,
it's worse than that because it's somebody with a slightly mid to mid high register trying to lower their voice to make it sound more gravelly.
No,
it just doesn't sound. I don't care because I'm not going to play a Yakuza game in fucking English.
Yeah, that shit trips me out.
I'm fine with subtitles. These games are made in Japan, by Japan, for Japan, about Japan. So
sometimes the emotion is conveyed more correctly in the language it originated in.
That's what I think. I know that.
Like, I feel that way about movies and television. I feel that way even about anime, and like that's a drawn emotion, but I feel like it still, the voice acting is conveyed differently.
You're wading into a huge argument online. I got in this like back in the spill days of just like, I watch subtitle because dubs are all shit. And people were like, actually they've gotten really good over the last 20 years. And I'm like, I don't care. And they're like, and then that strangely warped into like, no, you need to watch. They're actually better because they're in your language and like they're so good, and you need to watch. And I was like, I don't want to. And they're like,
I feel I'm fine with it. I prefer what is it, subbed over dubbed?
Yep.
Most of the time. The only time I ever do dub stuff, I don't watch a lot of anime anyway, but the only time I do dub stuff is if I'm like doing something else and I need to not look at the screen the whole time.
There's some games that even have Japanese as the main language that I will switch to dubs if it's a game where during the action there's a lot of exposition and I can't like be reading subtitles while
it's like, this is a very delicate operation, but you also have to read. That's different.
So let's see. In other news about companies fucking up, Capcom's got a real fucking bug up their butt right now.
Yeah.
Last week we had a story where they have this new DRM, but it's like it's not like copy protection, it's like file integrity verification. Capcom has this thing. They made a statement about 3 or 4 months ago that like mods are as bad as cheating and you shouldn't be doing it, and fuck you guys, and this is like the worst thing. Now I
feel like the mod community would be like, oh really?
So the thing is that I think that this mainly came from the fact that they had a Street Fighter 6 tournament and somebody logged in and had a naked Chun-Li.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody in the comments said that it's because Capcom wants money and they don't want people making unauthorized mods that they could make their own.
I think both
outfits.
can be true. Yeah,
I think both can be true. But either way, they've actually taken action and they've started down what I consider to be an incredibly just badly thought out road.
Sega, you're going down a path that I cannot follow.
Capcom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Sega. My bad.
Also, in this house, we pronounce it Sega.
Sega.
So last week they put this stuff into Resident Evil Revelations, and it made the frame rate go fucking through the floor because it was doing checks and stuff, and then they took it back out again. This week they put it into Monster Hunter Rise, and apparently one of the results of that is that Monster Hunter Rise no longer functions on some Steam Decks. So some Steam Decks now just won't launch Monster Hunter Rise. They have not taken it back out again, but instead have said this is affecting some number of customers, and we're going to look into it and fix it because they are not they ain't backing down on this stuff. They're just like, nope.
I hate it's a comfortable percentage that can no longer play the game they paid for.
It's also just like, if you wanted to do this, the way to do it would be to start with the recent Ace Attorney game that came out today, the day we're recording this, and be like, we are putting it in everything moving forward. We are going to write off. But Resident Evil Revelations, man, we did that was a loading bar video when we played that game. That game is 10 years old, and you're putting anti-mod tech into a 10-year-old Resident Evil. Why? Why?
We're trying to teach them a lesson.
It's not even online.
Stop being creative.
It's not online. It's not like it affects anything.
Yeah.
If I want to have fucking Chris Redfield be a Shrek, then I deserve to have a Shrek, goddammit. If I want to put Ash Ketchum into Resident... Wait. No. Sorry, Nintendo.
Don't do it.
So this is going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing that keeps happening. It's probably going to take whoever the current president of Capcom is to die or retire or leave his position or have some huge controversy in order for this, because no amount of internet complaining or calmly explaining why this is a bad thing will change this.
Yeah.
It's going to take
their path
something.
is clear.
Yeah. But what a bummer. What a bummer. Speaking of Steam, there was a report that came out last week from a Deserto website, third-party website called CS2 Case Tracker that just does stats for Counter-Strike 2. So Counter-Strike 2 was released last year. It took the place of the original Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike 2 is one of those things where you get a loot box, but it's locked, and then you have to buy a key to unlock it to get whatever's in it. Based on the transactions and the number of keys and boxes, Valve made $980 million.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Off of...
Can you imagine?
Nope. Amanda, I don't know what I would do with $1 million.
$980 million.
I don't know what I would do with $500,000.
We could give $1 million to every single fan of RageSelect, and then with the other $975 million.
Actually, the thing is that if I had $980 million, I could give $1 million to every single patreon.com/RageSelect patron, and I would still have $700 million left over.
Yeah.
So, guys, patreon.com/RageSelect. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but I might if I had that much money.
I mean, you never know. Win the lottery. We all win the lottery, baby.
And that's not even taking into account the fact that when you sell a gun skin to somebody else on Steam, Valve takes 15% of what you've sold. So it's probably more like $1 billion in fake machine gun skins in a game.
I got into the wrong fucking industry. Why am I podcasting, Jeff? There is no money in it.
I don't know. I don't know. I do know that that's a lot of fucking money,
That's
man.
a lot of money.
They're never going to make Half-Life 3 at this rate. Why would they?
I was literally just thinking,
$1 billion.
Yeah, we're never going to get another fucking Portal game.
Nope.
Son of a bitch.
Yep. Why would you? Why would you? You could literally just take a bath in like $100 bills and it wouldn't even scratch the surface.
Maybe it's more to be creative and fulfilled in ways other than financial. Did you ever think about that, Jeff?
No.
Maybe. Not once.
Yeah, you know what? You know what I would think about that?
Yeah.
Once I had $900 million.
That's what I'm saying. They clearly have it. Gabe.
Come on.
Gabe, I know your email address. I will contact you.
Yeah, that's like in less than 1 year. Like,
fuck.
It's less than 1 year. I don't even know how that many people are still playing fucking Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
It's Counter-Strike.
I mean, I don't... Sure.
I mean, like...
Maybe it's just like one really rich guy buying a bunch of keys.
I don't know. Maybe.
Playing a game all by himself.
Well, now I got to transition to some bad news.
Uh-oh.
Well, sort of. This is bad news. It's not as bad as when we normally do this. Riot Games is laying off 530 people and is closing Riot Forge. So Riot makes League of Legends.
Yeah.
Riot Forge was their spin-off to make all those single-player games that we saw.
Yeah.
Nunu and the Mage Breaker, and I think everybody from RageSelect has played like at least one of these.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of money. They got a lot of money, especially during the pandemic, and they were like looking to do so. That's where Arcane came from, the Netflix show. They wanted to try to expand it. Now, I will say that most of those games that they made, they like got a company to kind of make like that company's style of game, but in League of Legends.
Yeah.
And none of them, I feel like, they were all fine.
Yeah.
They were all
everything always felt like a really nice B.
Yes. So
B
apparently,
plus maybe.
Like everybody else, the business is contracting, and they're like, well, we can't afford to have this anymore, so they're laying people off. Now, here's the crazy thing, though, is their layoff. I don't know much about Riot, but Riot had a reputation a long time ago as being a real frat bro dude place to work because of League of Legends, and they went to really try to clean it up where they basically like
they like, oh no, we have to lose 530 people. Guess all the women that we hired have to get out of here.
Actually, it was like 2 years ago. They had this really interesting severance thing where they were like, if you don't like it here, then we're going to give you this really, really generous severance package. I kind of
remember that conversation.
Yeah, where you can leave, and like if you stay, we're going to have you go to these like sensitivity training and sign on to like a new corporate charter about what's allowed and what's not. They really did. It seemed from the outside like they really were trying to reform their internal company culture. Well, part of that is like, and this is, I don't know if this has been a thing that has happened with other companies, but their severance package is 6 months full pay, from whatever position you were in, a bonus based on like performance in 2023, full health insurance through that 6 months instead of like having to pay for Cobra or any of that bullshit. And then also job assistance. Like basically, like they'll give you an account with like I don't know if it's like a temp agency or an employment agency or something, but a place to help you try to find another job. And I'm just like, man, if you got to get fired, fucking.
That's where to get fired from.
I've never been fired that nicely before. It's like, is there like a hand job and a sandwich in there too, or like what the fuck?
Really cushions the blow.
Yeah, like I'd be like, holy shit, 3 months of Baldur's Gate 3, and then I have to look for a job. But yeah, if you got to do it, that's like. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
The way not to do it, of course, is the way that Embracer Group does it, because Embracer Group sucks. So in the continuing shit show that is the Embracer Group and their acquisitions, one of the companies that they bought was called Elex. Piranha Bytes. They make games that you've never played or heard of, which is Elex and Gothic. These are very like niche cult games. Not cult like the subject matter, but like they have a very small number of very rabid fans. One of them is like a kind of medieval fantasy game, and the other one is like a kind of a post-apocalyptic medieval fantasy futuristic game. It's like knights with laser swords in Fallout, basically.
What a ripoff!
Yeah, so they announced basically that like Embracer has pulled all of their support and funding from them, and is basically like, you can keep the rights to your properties. So they are now like in this mad dash to be like, we are now looking for somebody else to basically come in and be the publisher and the bankroll for the next one of these games that we're trying to put out. Or they've also mentioned going indie, which, I mean, apparently, if the Palworld guy is to be believed, you just got to keep taking out loans.
That's such a dangerous game to play, though. Like, my God.
Above zero. I have played exactly one of these, I think. I think Chris and I played LX2, and it had... Let me look this up. Let me look this up, because if it is, Amanda, you'll never guess what the end of this sentence is. We played LX. Is that it? Yep, that was it.
I can't read that far away.
So this was LX2.
And what is the end of the... join us on the RageSelect podcast, where we watch our own videos.
So this was LX2, and the craziest thing in the world happened. We went to a town full of weirdos, and our time with the game ended with a Billy Idol concert.
What the fuck?
Because Billy Idol apparently is in this game, post-apocalyptic game, like
why
singing Billy Idol songs. Like, they've got a Billy Idol character model in the game, like, and they made a little music video, and at the end of like the first 40 minutes, you just go to like a weird impromptu post-apocalyptic Billy Idol.
Is this Burning Man?
It's so weird. And they made him so old. They gave him so many Billy Idol wrinkles.
Yeah, they're like, realistic. He has to be.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's so fucking weird.
Weird to look at.
Anyway, so yeah, that happened. Yeah. China is in a little bit of a strange place right now. So China a few years ago had a ban on, or they locked down their whole video game thing, where like people under 18 were only allowed like 1 hour on the weekends per like weekend day to play video games, and like you couldn't if you were under that age, you like were locked out of video game. Like, they made the game companies put like timers and shit on their video games.
Yeah,
they also have a lot of like really specific. They've had some problems recently about like trying to wrest more and more control away from video game companies, which like at a certain point stops being profitable.
Yeah.
Like Blizzard games all shut down in China because the company that was doing all their web hosting that had to be located in China, there was a dispute between the two of them, and Blizzard was just like, okay, well, fuck you guys, and walked away. And so they just turned off Overwatch, World of Warcraft, like all those games in China.
That's crazy, because isn't China like a huge market?
It is, but not if like...
Yeah, not if they're going to...
Not if the server farm's going to squeeze you, like for, we want 40% of all of your profits from this region, and it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
That's not worth even keeping track of. We'll just go fucking somewhere else. We don't care.
Yeah.
So back in December, they basically proposed a huge sweeping new set of restrictions to video game developers in China. This was including requiring publishers to have their servers located in China, the imposition of spending limits in online games, so like locked into the game, like built into the infrastructure, a ban on daily login rewards, a ban on live streaming of heavy tipping within games. I'm not sure what that means, but I don't know.
Okay.
And a ban on offering probability-based luck draw features to minors, so loot boxes, basically.
Oh.
So you can't give loot boxes.
No wonder Blizzard was like, well...
So like, yeah.
That's
they were
like the whole game.
Well, think about what those are.
Yeah.
Daily spending limits, no loot boxes for minors, and like,
Is it weird that I agree with China on some of these?
Login rewards.
Like...
This was floated.
Yeah.
And Tencent and NetEase, like the two biggest like publishers of games in China on the stock market, lost $80 billion in value.
Jesus Christ.
Like immediately. Because it was like a lot of games in China are like loot box, like login bonuses.
Well, I mean, in fairness, though, that does mean that there's a issue and that it might be something that needs to be addressed. Like if all the games that are in there are like ones where they're just like, give us your money, your money, we want your money, the game is give me your money, then it's like, okay, we might need to regulate you guys.
Maybe.
I'm like fully in support of what's happening here, but it is an issue that is happening within video games as well.
Sure. Well, the thing is that it's like, okay, you can't regulate that market really heavily and then be surprised that the major players in that market are like,
then I don't want
to do business here. Like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. So, so apparently that proposal was on the Chinese web, like their government website, is now a 404 page.
Oh no.
And immediately
like, it's gone. Goodbye.
And NetEase's stocks rose today.
That's funny.
Doing that. So they're looking at that. I think that it's one of those things where it's like you can't have, well, you can. No, you can't. You can't have like
was that a whole conversation that just happened inside your head?
You can't institute draconian like measures on businesses and then have businesses make a shitload of money using predatory methods. You can't have both.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're probably not going to have video game companies are not going to be interested in marketing in your country if you're just like, right, but anybody under 16 can only play for 10 minutes a day. And it's like, well, that's our bread and fucking butter, man. Like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll go somewhere else. So.
It's weird because it's like, I don't think video games should do that, but I don't think any government should regulate that, and you create this cycle of both are bad.
I think there are ways around that sort of thing, and I think that most of it, I've been saying this for 20 years and I'll keep saying it, there are already tools in place to like regulate what your underage people do.
Yeah, it's just like the whole thing should be within the like responsibility of the parent to set up the proper like things, and it's
a little bit. I also though have come around a little bit just because I used to be a lot more like, well, it's parents' responsibility. When I was a kid, it wasn't a problem, and then I had a teacher once that wrote into me that was like, Jeff, I can't get these kids to stop playing Fortnite on their phones for class, and like I can send them to detention. I call their parents don't give a shit. Like I can't teach them because they're so glued to this because they developed all these really sophisticated like addiction techniques and then they applied them to games being played by 5-year-olds. Like you're 45, your brain is cooked. Like they're not going to get you with their subtle tricks because you're an old man. And you're just like,
your frontal cortex is already developed.
But like if you get this shit to kids, like you can really get them like hooked into this stuff earlier and harder than I ever was. So I do have some sympathy. I'm
not entirely unsympathetic. It's just I don't know.
I think it requires a more nuanced approach.
What if no video game?
See, that's not a nuanced approach.
Oh, my bad.
Speaking of Blizzard, Overwatch esports is actually back.
Oh.
So the Overwatch League was completely disbanded last year.
That wasn't long.
Didn't make money. Well, they said they were going to come back with something, but I didn't really mention that because I don't care because I don't like Overwatch anymore. But, you know. But one of the big things from Overwatch League was that they had very specific requirements about like they had to have regionally based teams.
Yeah.
Like they had to be the Houston, ball crackers. And
go ball crackers.
So because they wanted to
That's what they used to call me in high school, the Houston ball cracker.
They wanted to engender like team sport.
Yeah.
Like
they wanted
fealty.
Are they letting go
fandom, I should say, not fealty. All hail the ball crackers. So yeah, this new thing is called Overwatch Champion Series, and it's basically they handed the entire management over to a company that already does like Rainbow Six and Counter-Strike and some other stuff like that. They are now going to be doing what every other esports team does, where it's like you can have people from all over. You can form a team with like a dude from Washington and a guy from India, and like, you know.
And then they could come up with cooler team names.
Right.
Not Ballcracker. We took it. It's ours now.
That's right. Copyright.
Dongacles' followers are now called Ballcrackers.
Copyright. That's how it works, right? So yeah, they're going to be forming it back up, and they're going to start small again, and they probably always should have. Like almost the entire tech sector. It's like, boy, you guys went all in on this with a lot of money and resources, and it probably wasn't going to be a thing.
Yeah,
like it was nice to see.
None research, all hope.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they did take a chance, but also I just don't think as many people. I think, you know, as they've made Overwatch more multiplayer, competitive focused, more regular people have stopped being interested in it. Those people would have gone to Ballcrackers games because they have played the game, because it's accessible. It's like, you know, if you pick up basketball in the street with your friends, you might be more interested in going to a basketball game. Whereas if Overwatch is like fucking Call of Duty and it's
I don't want to watch those douchebags play
for anybody to get into. Yeah. So.
Agreed.
Speaking of online multiplayer games, we got the Justice League Kills the Suicide Squad.
There is literally only one reason I'm even kind of interested in this game.
What's that?
Pro wrestler and world champion of AEW, Samoa Joe, is the voice of the shark of King Shark. Yeah.
I think that the cutscenes for this game look pretty good, and I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if the core gameplay loop is dumb, mindless fun, it could be the sort of thing that I just play, listen to podcasts, put on a YouTube video in the background, because the gameplay to me all looks a lot like a slightly worse version of Sunset Overdrive.
I'm getting that vibe.
The big vertical leaps and all the colors and stuff. So, yeah, I do think this game is going to be a colossal failure.
I feel like everybody feels that.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if it will be.
But see, for my money, I keep saying that, like, there's no reason that this sort of game could work. But, like, they just haven't made one. Like the Avengers game was kind of half-baked, and
that was not an enjoyable.
Destiny isn't something that I'm interested in playing over and over again. It just doesn't hook me all that much. But like here, they even go into this is their third like little developer diary thing. They talk all about how it's like, oh yeah, you and your friends can play the game together, and then you'll get ranked at the end of a mission to be who was the best, and then that person becomes like the team leader for the next mission. And like they even talk about how if you have people on your friends list that are playing the game and somebody overtakes you in like score, that they can basically send like a thing where when you log into the game, like their Captain Boomerang will jump out and flip you off and be like, you suck, and then just like leave. And I'm like,
that sounds fun. It also sounds like a great way for me to be abused online.
This one specifically talks a lot about Elseworlds. Apparently they're going to have like part of this thing is the Brainiac is doing simulations of different Elseworlds.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's an excuse so that they can have
like a team of 3 dead shots.
Well, that, and also because I think there's a DLC that's the Joker or something.
Yep, that was what they mentioned at the end of this.
And it felt like that was the excuse. It was just so they could be like, it's the Joker. It's the Joker from Arkham, even though he's dead.
It's actually not the Joker from Arkham. So yes, they did kill off the Joker in Arkham City, because you know he's like a fucking ghost that came over and fucked with your head in Arkham.
Asylum? No.
Night.
So
this is a different Joker. Like, so the one thing, okay, I am not the biggest fan of this game. I'm not a fanboy for this game. I do not endorse this game. I'm blah, 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 right? they're giving away these like seasons for free. I think because they realized they can't charge you for a battle pass, and like that was going to be like way over the line. We just get people to be like neutral.
Yeah.
So apparently they're going to be doing a number of different Elseworlds characters, because the thing with this Joker is that this Joker is from a different world and is part of that world's Suicide Squad, so will be a playable character that you will be able to use.
Young looking.
Part
Joker.
of them they talk about is that this is a younger Joker who is not like a crime lord yet.
Yeah, he looks like a teenager.
He's more of a like vaudeville, like he's like an older archetype of the Joker instead of being this like serial killing like scary psycho. He's more of the kind of silly psycho, still dangerous, but like in a sillier, laughier way. I'm very torn. You didn't see this ahead of time, but like he's got like an exuberant voice and then like a more grounded voice. I don't care for his more grounded voice, but when he was like getting into it and laughing and kind of being psycho,
a little fun.
better. Yeah. But then I have a hard time anytime I hear a Joker that's not Mark Hamill, I'm kind of like, what's wrong with that Joker's voice?
He's broken. Smack him a couple of times.
Even though that wouldn't be like that's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's unfair to compare to.
It's just that's my favorite one.
Yeah.
His traversal is an umbrella.
Oh.
It
He
looks
stole
like
that from the Penguin?
Probably, because all their stuff is stolen.
Yeah.
Like Deadshot's jetpack is stolen, and like
That's funny.
Harley Quinn's one is like one of the bat drones that she can use. So I get the feeling that this is a Penguin thing. I do like it. Looks real weird because it's like it kind of flies up in the air and then you can kind of like skateboard on it.
Yeah. He's like wind sailing on it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he have a guitar?
I think some kind of like
he had a mace.
Yeah, something that like a bat, like a cane with like a morning star on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When it reconnects, it just has like a flash of looking guitar-ish to my sad little eyeballs.
It's an interesting take on Joker. I'd rather they didn't Joker at all.
Yeah.
Because it's just the fucking it's like Wolverine, man.
It's good, but much like Wolverine, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it now, then people just not shut the fuck. Joker fans will not shut the fuck up until they get the Joker.
Joker, Deadpool, and Wolverine are all kind of just like, I roll my eyes a little bit.
Yep.
Even though I like the first Deadpool movie, it was just hey, Deadpool in everything, breaking the fourth wall and talking to me. Shut up, Deadpool. Play the game.
Yeah.
But it again. I look at the gameplay for this, and I'm like, this could be fine. It's like kind of like a Palworld thing, right? Of like, if somebody made one of these and then they had a really, really good third-person action engine, there's no reason why it couldn't be fun. If it actually was fun to play single player and with your friends, well, okay, but it's just generally not.
Yeah.
Like,
usually it's just garbage by yourself.
Also, all the cutscenes just look really nice. Like the character models and the cutscenes and the expressions on people's face all look really, really nice. Like I saw one preview where they were like, yeah, the cutscenes are great, the gameplay is mediocre, and I'm like, I don't know, man, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. Like it just needs to be good enough to get you to the next cutscene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The big problem with this game, though, is that I did the schedule for February.
Oh.
And it's stacked. Like it's coming out in between Tekken 8 and Persona 3 and Jujutsu Kaisen and Foam Stars and that Banishers game and Helldiver 2 and Skull and Bones. Actually, no, all those things I mentioned suck ass. So like maybe not.
Okay, never mind.
Never mind. Maybe it'll be fine.
February fucking sucks.
Actually, it'll probably get killed because people will still be playing Palworld. It comes out in like 2 weeks.
Ooh.
So
yeah, that's fair. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
All right, two more when we're done here. Sam Barlow's new studio has 2 new games in the pipeline.
Why do I know the name Sam Barlow?
Immortality.
Okay, gotcha.
As well as Her Story and Telling Lies. Apparently, one of them is a sci-fi project that is similar to his previous full motion video games that has some very interesting kind of implications. There's no details or screenshots or anything.
That's fine. I'm in.
And then the other one is apparently supposed to be like an actual, like it's supposed to be in the vein of Resident Evil.
Oh,
like an actual third person video game. Like everything he's made up until this point that I've seen has been just like full motion video, the choose your own adventure weirdness. And like, hey, don't get me wrong.
I mean,
Immortality fucking ruled.
Yeah, it was fun. They're fun.
I need to go back and finish it though. I never finished it.
I watched a lot of videos after we played it.
Yeah.
And then I forced John to play it.
There you go. That was a very fake sounding laugh, but it was genuine.
I am laughing at you.
But yeah, so that's interesting. There could be some interesting stuff.
Yeah, I would like to see what he does with that.
I like the fact that they all seem like they're all semi-horror related. So
yeah.
Yep. And then last on the news train, there was a Final Fantasy 14 live-action TV show that was greenlit a little while back. Is no more. Dead.
Aww.
Yep.
Aww.
Well, I don't know. See, the thing is that everybody fucking loves that game, but they're like, yeah, you got to play 200 hours, and then it's like the best story of all time. And I'm just like, that's too many fucking hours.
That's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours. I could play, you know how many video games I could play in 200 hours?
Like 2.
I could play Baldur's Gate. And Tekken, maybe. Anyway, apparently this was a thing that was greenlit right before COVID, and then it was just kind of in development hell.
Man, that's a lot to. If it's an American production or a Japanese production?
I believe it's an American production.
Oh man, if it's like it gets through COVID hell, and then the strikes happen a couple of years later, that's like a lot to deal with.
I get a feeling that this was called off a long time ago and they just never said anything about it.
Yeah.
They said that they looked at it, it was just going to be too expensive.
Yeah.
Because they needed like prosthetics and big costumes and then the CG to make the world work and all that stuff. But it was the same company that did the Witcher adaptation that was going to be working on it. But somebody tweeted at the main guy on Twitter and asked like, hey, what's the status of this? Haven't heard anything in a while. And he was just like, dead.
Yeah.
Period. That was it. Like, done. So
it's gone.
Yep. And that's the news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to watch a lot of videos.
Hell yeah.
Trailers and some date announcements. So stick around and we'll see you in just a second. And we're back.
Here we are. We've been here the whole time.
That's right. That's right. I haven't. I've been getting new glasses because apparently mine don't work or they work too hard.
You should get 2 monocles.
And I told you that's glasses.
No, you need them to be free so you could be...
Well, that just
a man of action needs a little more movement than what glasses can allow.
I don't think I've got the facial muscles to be able to hold like. Can I get like one of those like welder goggles and then just like some sticky tape and just glue it to one eyeball?
Perfect.
No, Kano is the answer. I need a Kano face. I'm gonna get Kano face for my birthday.
I'm gonna get Kano'd.
I'm gonna get Kano. I'm gonna walk into the optometrist and be like, 1 Kano, please. And they'll be like, what is that? Who are you? Get out. Anyway, we got trailers. They're okay.
They're all right.
They're okay trailers.
Yeah. That's just people sitting around a couch, Jeff.
Yeah. The first thing we've got is a 25-minute gameplay breakdown for this game called Avowed. This is the game that Obsidian is working on. So they're the ones that Microsoft bought that made like the Outer Worlds and they made like Fallout New Vegas back in the day.
Why does this look like they're just beating up lizard children?
Because that's what they're doing.
Okay. Even the younglings?
Even the younglings. No, they're like kobolds. They're like little peoples.
3 kobolds in a trench coat.
So they did an extended like gameplay thing where they talked a lot more about the game because they had like last week Microsoft had a showcase and they showed this game off. They haven't really showed very much of it. And I was like, most of their trailer was just kind of hanging out in this rocky area, beating up these lizards. And
punching children right in the face.
I had no idea why.
Yeah.
And I have more of an idea why after watching this.
They magicked the soul out of one of them.
Yeah, apparently you can switch between swords, magic, and guns. They've got like muskets and like flintlocks and stuff.
Okay.
This all takes place in one of their like proprietary worlds. So it's like the people that were big fans of the last game they made in this world that was like an RPG are very excited because this to me like looks like it was like Skyrim, but more generic.
Is it weird that like the world looks fine, but the characters look old to me. Like you have an older generation.
They look like
game.
less detailed.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I can see that a lot of times in these RPGs. If you don't have like the hugest budget in the world, like you sacrifice a little bit of like character density for.
It's just always weird when they put them in these detailed backgrounds, and it's like you could see every crack in the rock back there, and then you look at the little lizard person. It's like that looks. Okay.
Yeah, they go into a lot of the combat, and it does seem more interesting.
It is funny to see him pull out a gun.
Yeah, just whip out a gun. I don't know. It does like the thing is that I don't know anything about this world, and a lot of these previews have been, I think, kind of focused on like people who know lore about this world already, so they'll talk about areas or like mechanics from the other game that they made for Pillars of Eternity, and it's like I don't know any of that, guys. I need like
can I get like a intro first?
I need like a story trailer. I need like a big story trailer. But after watching this, I will say that the combat engine, like what it reminds me of is the way that Outer Worlds had a lot of stuff. It seems like they're very much leaning into the idea that like unlike Skyrim, where you kind of build towards a specific play style, that you're going to be really open to be able to switch on the fly between like magic and swords and like guns and do whatever like as the situation presents itself,
which is kind of fun.
So, yep.
I like the idea of chasing somebody with a wand, and then when they turn around, you just shoot them in the face.
Yep. And like I think that some of it looks better than other parts of it.
Yeah.
I think they kind of picked a bad. I think that this area they were showing off, this very arid area with the lizards in it, was not a good first impression.
Yeah.
If you weren't already familiar, like if you knew the world, you'd be like, oh, it's that place.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. So then it's just like an empty desert with some lizards running around.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still waiting to be like super duper sold because I really did like the Outer Worlds and I liked some of the stuff Obsidian did. I also dislike other things that Obsidian has made. So
it could really go either way.
Could go either way. But yeah. We got a new Princess Peach Showtime trailer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah. Showing off some new outfits. We got a ninja.
Oh hell yeah, girl.
Ninja Peach. Doing some ninja actions. There's a cowgirl. Sorry, Peach. Roping and wrangling.
Hell yeah.
Riding horses.
That's definitely not going to be turned into dirty fan art.
Like a sword.
Oh hell yeah.
Sword fighter Peach. Kind of a Three Musketeers vibe. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole like it's all on a stage as a play thing.
Yeah. Sherlock Peach.
Yeah, Detective Peach.
Yeah. Detective Peach-a-chew?
Good job. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then there's like what's this? Patissiere Peach making
cute
confections.
What the fuck are those little things next to her?
Oh, these little like nose guys. I think they're part of this world. They're part of this like stage world thing.
Okay.
And then like kind of a kung fu fighter Peach.
Dude, this game looks fun.
Yeah.
I am into it. I can't wait to see all you cosplayers in these outfits. So cute.
And that's coming March 22nd.
Oh,
so it's only like 2 months away.
That's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a little leery about the
stage thing.
Yeah, just the way that it's all on a stage. And I was a little leery about that too. This idea of like,
well, then bad news.
Yeah. Let's see. In fighting game news, we got a teaser for the next Street Fighter 6 character.
Nice.
Ed. It is a boxer. It's funny because this is like the Poisonly, the Aki trailer, where it's like a story trailer. They show like him being chased on a subway by the bad guys at Street Fighter 6, which are all dudes with boxes on their heads.
Yes.
That's what the Mad Gear Gang is in Street Fighter 6, is dudes what got boxes on their heads.
You are boxes. I am a boxer.
Yep.
This isn't going to work out for you.
Well, what's weird is I don't know if these are super hard guys because their boxes have the Shadaloo logo on them. I don't know if they're like
that's hilarious.
Bison's box guys.
They have like, box rankings.
I don't know. This guy is a big beefy chunk with
his head is so little compared to the rest. Oh my god, the big old guy, just a big old box-headed man just showed up.
But he's got a real pretty boy haircut.
He does.
He's got a real pretty boy band. No, It's like a skater, like a 2000 skater, new metal haircut, sort of.
Yeah, that guy that.
Or like cape.
This just reminds me of when I was in high school and boys would have that haircut and you would talk to them and they would do the like head flick thing because you would like flick your hair from away from your face, but the hair was specifically styled to be in front of your face, so it would just flip back and then flip in front of their face again because that's where it's like naturally.
It's all bangs. It's nothing but bangs. It's oops all bangs.
Oops all bangs. Much also like my high school. I don't know what that means.
Yes, you do. We got the launch trailer for Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is out, by the way, for everybody. I kind of forgot. Like this week, it was like, okay, Palworld came out, but then I think like today, the day we're recording this, or by the end of the week, by the time you hear this, Tekken 8, the new Ace Attorney trilogy, and Like a Dragon.
Damn, how long is this podcast? These games just coming out left and right while we're recording?
Yep. No, they'll come out like the same day. I feel like it's weird because...
Good luck to your wallets.
The new Yakuza, the new Tekken, and a new Ace Attorney thing are all out on the same day. And it's like 4 days after that PAL game launched, Palworld launched. I'm just like, good Lord, you guys. And Suicide Squad is coming out in like a week.
Yeah,
like
that's going to get a little...
Anyway, this is a big story trailer for the launch of Tekken 8, talking all about what's going on. It appears that Kazuya has resurrected the King of Iron Fist tournament, but now it's like if you lose, your whole society gets fucking boned.
Holy shit. Now I'm going to feel guilty about poning noobs.
Yeah. Tekken 8, like Blake and I played the demo for this. Tekken 8 looks like they're really going all in on it. Like it's been a while since there was a Tekken, and
looks great.
This one looks really nice.
Dude, I used to be so into Tekken. Yeah, for like a hot minute.
Boom. Yeah, lots of new fighters. I like that lady. She's all about coffee. She's literally like owns a coffee company, and she's from like Brazil or something.
Nice.
And talks all about coffee. Like her intro is her doing like an ad for her brand of coffee.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I want to know more about the coffee, not Devil Gin and Devil Kazuya.
Yeah,
and the all this other nonsense.
More of a King fan myself.
Yeah, there's this French guy. It's like a cyber secret agent that is being voiced by the guy that was the bad guy at Ocean's 12. The French guy from Ocean's 12 that like challenges them.
Oh,
that goes through all the lasers and stuff. Yeah, he's like the voice of that guy.
Oh my God, I haven't thought about that in a minute.
Yeah, it looks fucking epic as hell.
Yeah,
like, it looks crazy
intense,
good.
Man.
So, yep.
Go play it.
Gonna come out. We also got the pre-order bonus trailer for Like a Dragon. This is interesting. This whole thing was if you pre-order, you get 2 classes because it's like this is the one that's like an RPG, and one of them is Ichiban, the main character, as a football player. The other one is one of the people as a tennis star.
Yeah,
and these are like their special attacks for their things where it's like all the cheerleaders are beating a guy up. But then this whole thing is presented. This whole trailer is presented like a Sports Center segment talking about.
That's funny.
So it's pretty cute.
This is great. Yeah, this is fun.
She is very the tennis thing is very like Shaolin soccer vibes of like hitting a ball so hard that it like rips up the earth and then just like blasts the dude to infinity.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the New Game Plus thing sucks, but I'm still...
Yeah, I mean, but the game looks fun.
I won't play that game.
Yeah.
They're in Hawaii, man. They're like, there's an Animal Crossing game inside of that game. Yeah. Inside of that game, there is a whole Animal Crossing game. And I'm like, dude, don't put Animal Crossing in Yakuza. I'll play that. I haven't thought about this for a while, but Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2 got a trailer. They're adding in the Freedom Gundam from Gundam Seed. I know this doesn't mean anything to anybody else.
Yeah, those are all words I've definitely heard before.
Not even me, but because I don't play this game anymore. But, if you're into Gundam Seed, they're adding that in. That game kind of rules. I played it obsessively for like 3 or 4 months when it first came out. But
we were worried about you.
Yeah. I made a clan. And then, like, Michael joined, and that was it.
And then you're like, never mind. I don't want to play anymore. Sorry, Michael.
They put Solid Snake and Raiden into Fortnite, finally.
Oh.
We knew this was going to be happening for a while, but Solid Snake is now in the game, and you have to do a bunch of challenges to unlock him. But they also put a Raiden on the store. So unfortunately, they did nerf both of their asses. Neither one of them have nice, juicy man asses.
Then what's the point, dude? Why would I even? Why even?
You're going to be playing, you're going to be looking at the backside of him the whole time. You're going to be like, where's his ass?
Where's his ass? There's no ass.
Epic. Get your shit together.
How much more do I have to pay to get bigger ass?
You had a collector's edition. And then you get the asses.
Ass edition.
Yes. We're keeping the asses back behind the $20 battle pass.
That's cold-blooded, guys.
Yeah. This is another one. Okay, this has already happened, but I still, when this happens, it makes me confused.
Huh?
They're adding 2 new characters into from the boys into Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
So they already had Starlight, Homelander, and Black Noir, and they're adding in A-Train, and then someone called Firecracker that I
was going to ask you because I don't know who Firecracker is.
I don't think that she's been in the show yet. I don't think she's been in the show yet. I don't know if she's going to be in the next season or whatever. But like, still, I don't understand
this in Call of Duty.
I really don't understand this in Call of Duty.
It's funny to go from like, and Fortnite has yet another random fucking character in it,
right.
And then to go to Call of Duty and be like, I don't understand why Call of Duty has a random fucking character.
Well, I don't understand. Like, you know what? Of all the people that they've put into Fortnite, Solid Snake makes sense. That dude has guns and stuff, and so you give him a bunch of skins or whatever. But like, I'm watching this trailer, and I'm watching like Homelander shoot people with a machine gun.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
And I'm watching A-Train shoot people with a machine gun, and I'm like, why am I watching Homelander? The whole point of that character is his power.
Yeah.
Like, shooting people with a machine gun. That's stupid. Like Black Noir, okay, fine. That dude's kind of like a Batman guy, sort of.
Yeah.
But also, just none of this shit makes sense. This is like when they put fucking Pickle Rick in Rainbow Six. Actually, this is like when they put Kiryu Kazama, who notoriously does not use firearms, into Rainbow Six Siege. And I'm like, but why? Or Skeletor. They put Skeletor into Call.
Okay, but that's funny.
Yeah, sort of.
I don't know. This all feels like their audience, though. Like I feel like if you made a Venn diagram of people that play Call of Duty Modern Warfare and people that watch The Boys, it's like a full circle.
You know what it is that I have to think back to when they put out that one Battlefield game, and in the trailer for the Battlefield game that was like a World War II game, they had like a lady with a prosthetic arm, and people got really mad because they were like, there were ladies with prosthetic arms in World War II. This isn't realistic. I can't play a game unless I'm immersed in it. And now you got Homelander shooting you in the face with a machine gun.
Maybe
and it's
that's
like,
realistic. I don't know.
It's not.
It's not.
Definitely not. It's got laser eyes. Also, Homelander fucking sucks. Like, I don't.
Yeah. It's kind of. I mean, okay, but
the whole point of it was like, what if Superman was like a rapist murderer, like amoral piece of shit, and that because Anthony Starr or whatever is like, they gave him good lines and fleshed out the character, people are now like, I don't know, that Homelander has some interesting things to say, and I'm like, no, that's the whole fucking point.
Concerning.
Anyway, yeah, I knew it was a problem. My dad was like, I watched that Boys, that Homelander's an interesting character,
and you're like,
oh, no.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite's getting ready to do something big in their new season. They put a little teaser where they burn the USNF logo. I don't know much more than that, so I don't know.
It's exciting if you're a big fan of that logo and fire.
Yeah, something happening. I don't know. This is a very weird one. This one I should just skip that other one. Persona 3 Reload is coming out, and they did a live-action trailer with Aiden Gallagher.
The guy from the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
I recognize him.
Number 5 in the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, walking, like, they've got him on a green screen, just, like, walking through the world of Persona 3, and then he, like, turns into the main character from Persona 3, and then like goes. I couldn't find that he's like a voice actor or anything in this. I don't know if it's like they're just doing this because like this dude's popular. I don't know if this guy's popular on like Instagram or because he doesn't look anything really.
I don't know, dude. I do not follow children.
Like, also the green screen gets really bad when he starts running. Like, it looks fucking terrible. And I guess he kind of maybe a little bit looks like the generic brown-haired main character, but like, I'm like, but why is this guy? Is
a thing?
Do people are girls on Twitter, on TikTok, super into the Umbrella Academy guy? Apparently, he was a Disney kid before that.
Sure, a lot of them are.
He was in like a band or something. Because I was trying to figure out. I was like, "What's the deal? I'm old. I don't know. Why are we dealing with this?"
I know a million Gallaghers in bands.
So I know like two. And they're both in the same band, and it sucks.
Do not have a good time.
They do not get along very well. See, and then that is too old of a reference for the people that know.
That is true. He was a Nickelodeon guy. He's 20. That's still a child to me.
Yeah. He's.
Oh my God! The series was called Nicky, Ricky, Dicky, and Don.
He's 20. He's less than half of me.
Yeah.
He's less than half my age.
Weird.
When I was a child, when he was born, I was drinking.
Yeah, that's too young for me. Thanks. So, meaning I'm not part of the fandom, and I don't know what the fandom if there is a fandom for him.
Sure. We got a trailer for Bandletale, a League of Legends story. This is another one of those things that they shut down.
Yeah.
This is being made by the people that made WrestleQuest. Or no, that's something different. That's something later. This is being made by the people that made Graveyard Keeper, and it's like a cozy game.
Okay.
Set with like characters from the League of Legends universe, where you're like, it's like Animal Crossing, but kind of like pixelated.
Yeah.
And you're like hanging out with people and forming social bonds and stuff.
Cute.
Yeah, comes out.
People think that I'm like all in on cozy games.
Yeah,
I'm like 25% in on cozy games.
I think that there is a weird. I think that the whole cozy game thing has gotten a little weird. Where I don't know. I'm not into those kind of games, but people are just like the fact they have like a cozy game direct. Sometimes around E3.
I like it because it supports making games that aren't fully based around like murder death.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like every game I like is a cozy game, but I don't like every cozy game.
Sure.
But I get people all the time. Oh, it's a cozy game. You're gonna play it, right? And it's like, no, man. It's like a cozy game based on like this is League of. I don't even play League of. So why would I care about a cozy game set in it?
Yeah.
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 You can't just make me emotionally connect with random fucking characters for no reason. It has to connect to me somehow.
I think that. Well, I mean, you and I have had the conversation about what games you have not. Like you have connected with the first part of a lot of games, but haven't like really been.
Yeah, I'm not a completionist when it comes to gaming. My time is valuable, and if I stop enjoying it or it becomes the kind of challenge that I don't enjoy, I'll just move on.
Yeah.
Sometimes I come back. I finish some games, but it's to me, I don't feel a timeline.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you're if I'm starting it, I'm finishing it kind of person for a lot of games.
Some games. I've gotten less. I used to be much more that.
Yeah, because like I think we've had conversations where you've been more aggressive with it, where you're less aggressive with that now. But I'm just not. I do so many things, and I work so much, and I'm so tired all the time that it's just like sometimes I just can't push the buttons.
Yeah. I don't connect with games like this because I play games for like adrenaline stimulation, and I don't play games to relax. And like I'm relaxed enough on a daily basis.
I have anxiety. I have anxiety for adrenaline stimulation. I don't need something to be like, hey, you want to feel your heart pumping? I'm
yes.
like, I'm already there, baby.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
So I go in the opposite direction. Like for example, playing Kill It With Fire 2. So there's a new Kill It With Fire. They're making another one of these. This is a game where you smash spiders.
Yeah. Was it always it wasn't a space-based?
No, this is
specifically.
Yeah, this is an ad for the second one.
That's amazing.
For a demo that they put out a demo for the second one. Because I don't even know if we played the full game. I think we just played the demo.
One apartment, right? Yeah. So I didn't know if they were like, oh yeah, if you get into later levels, there's space station and a spooky ghost.
It definitely seems like I'm pretty sure that they added this in previously the multiplayer because there's a multiplayer mode where you can do stuff with your friends.
That's so funny.
Or there is an adversarial multiplayer mode where 4 people can be spiders and then 4 people can be the spider killers, and so you have to hide as the spiders and then like try not to get caught.
Oh man.
Yeah.
This looks fun. We had fun with this last time.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan of them
spiders. Spiders.
But yeah, I like the shining carpet they had in that one room.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'd kill it with fire. And then they expanded on it a bunch, and then they did a VR version, and then they're just like stick with the bread and butter. Let's make a second one. But yeah, demo out now.
Nice.
This is very brief. Sea of Stars. There's a physical edition. I think I might have mentioned this last week, but I wanted to like very much nail it down that what is it? Limited Run is putting out like a physical version of this.
Nice.
For all platforms. This is one of the ones from 2023 that I went back and played, and I played the shit out of it. I really, really like that game, and I think it deserves a lot more
love.
Like I was thinking back, like I think that I liked it more than Dave the Diver, even though I really liked that game a lot. It was at the Game Awards. It was in with Dave the Diver, Dredge, and then like one other thing. And I'm like, I played Dredge and I played Dave the Diver, and I think this should have won because it was like an old school. No, Dredge won.
Dredge won.
Yeah, it's an old school. Wait, maybe it did win.
Didn't it flash in the beginning?
Is that what it said?
It said it might have said nominated. That's why I don't know.
Let's see.
Blah blah blah.
You know what? Let me just look up Game Awards.
Yeah, no, it might be faster.
Game Awards, because if it did, I might have. Let's see, winners.
You were like, no, Dave the Diver.
Mobile game, narrative, multiplayer, independent game. Oh, Sea of Stars, it did win.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, take it back. I think when it won, I was like, Dave the Diver should have won, and now when I played it, I'm like, no, that's cool.
That was correct. The correct choice was made.
Yep. We got a 9-minute gameplay summary for Pacific Drive. This is a game that I'm kind of interested in. This is like, do you know how Stalker? Do you know about Stalker? Like the book, how it's like they had the whole exclusion zone where the Chernobyl accident happened, and then there was like a fictional thing about how there were like these weird anomalies that would occur there.
Kind of,
and you had these hunters that would go in. There was a Stanislavski, I believe, film where it was like about 3 people trying to find one of these to grant a wish type of thing, and it was Russian and it was dour and it was fucking took forever.
Yeah.
Pacific Drive is kind of like that concept, except you're driving like a station wagon in the Pacific Northwest, and you're driving it into like this weird anomalous exclusion zones looking for like scrap and like resources and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very detailed in like the car part. Like you could put every piece of the car has its own health bar.
Yeah.
You like repair it. You can like mod it. You can paint it. You can put different stuff on it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like pick your route. You get everything ready, and then you drive, and then you can stop and like scavenge loot, or you'll get stuff that like chases you, or weird stuff will happen, and you kind of run away from it.
Of the Twisted Metal television series.
Oh, I never watched that. I was meant to.
This is kind of what he does. There's like little outposts of societies, and in between there are these like runners.
Yeah.
And Anthony Mackie's character is that he has his car that he
goes between.
He goes between, and he'll make deliveries between different communities, and then he'll also like travel around looking for scrap and stuff, and then he just sort of lives off of what they give him.
Kind of the proceeds.
It's kind of like this. It's got this vibe.
It's interesting though, because it all seems to be like very spooky. Like it's all at night. It's the Pacific Northwest. It's like very rainy. It's very like thick forests. And busted up roads and stuff.
This looks cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It's kind of been on my radar for a while. My main concern with it was
you don't want to sit there modding a car for like 3 hours?
No, I would totally do that. It was more about like, I don't think in the previous things that I'd seen as much of the get out and do stuff part, where I get really nervous about games where you're never allowed to get out of the car.
Yeah.
Because I think that like the best way to have car immersion is to make it a tool where you can literally not have it and then be like in trouble because
you're too
away
far
from
away
your
from a car. Yeah. And
then this is kind of like a little bit like Palworld of the idea of like, well, you're going there to get resources to upgrade your car, to repair your car so you can go further in so you can get better resources.
Yeah.
That is a very satisfying gameplay loop. But then the style here of this kind of busted up station wagon, lo-fi technology, weird Pacific Northwest spookiness and paranormal junk happening. Like this is at the end showing that you can create a portal back to your garage, but then like in your rear view this is like a Fortnite like death thing that's coming towards you. Cool. And that once it overtakes you, like you start taking damage and you have to like race through, and this is like driving off-road through forests, trying desperately to get to this huge cone of light, and you can see all the parts are turning yellow.
Like, flashing on your dashboard.
So there's like a sense of urgency and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Also, there's definitely like you can paint stuff, and they have shown it in previous stuff, but you can definitely mod your car. Oh, I did like this. There's an interesting system where you can have like glitches where it's like they show like every time I close a door, the hood opens, and then when I close the hood, the door opens. And so there's this weird diagnostic thing where you have to say like, when I close the door, the hood opens, and then you can get like a solution.
That's funny.
For your car that's been infected with like weird stuff. But yeah, one of the skins for this station wagon is just straight up the mystery machine.
I was gonna say you're either gonna get with that the mystery machine or the Ecto one.
Oh, I'm sure there's an Ecto one as well. I don't know exactly where it is in this, but yeah, they talk about like all the different stuff that you get. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like, you saw it real briefly there.
Flashed real quick.
Yeah. Looks pretty cool. And I think that's coming out February. Yeah, February 22nd.
Very close.
We got I didn't know this was still a thing, but the second story DLC for Splatoon 3 is coming out in February. Called Side Order. It was part of their season pass. It's coming out also February 22nd. It's going to be
a hefty February 22nd.
Yeah, they put out a little teaser for it. I don't like the single player stuff in Splatoon.
I never really think about it.
Been very good, but apparently they made the commitment and they're sticking to it. Damn it!
Good for them.
I don't even know. Are people still playing Splatoon 3?
Probably.
Let's see. Nier Reincarnation got an Act 2, the return trailer. I won't try to describe it because it's Nier and it's weird and it's a lot of white boxes. It's
a fever dream.
This is the phone app that they put out in 2022. There was like a gacha game.
Yeah.
It was all about the Nier thing. I never played it, but I heard it was good. It's also shutting down in April. So
get it while you can.
Yeah. They're putting this out. They're putting this new chapter out, and then in April it's going to get shut down.
Holy shit!
I think it's better than just like if you'll go. That actually makes me more interested in playing it because it means that like they had like a story they wanted to tell, and they're done telling it, and then they're going to shut it down instead of just dragging it out into endless forever. So, in fact, what I hope is that now that it's done, that they'll port this to the Switch or
there's a bigger chance of that happening. Like if it's done and not continuously going on and on and on.
There's another trailer for that Alone in the Dark game that's coming out.
I swear to God, that game's never coming out, and it's just going to be trailers.
The game still sometimes looks very good and sometimes looks like a PS3 game.
Yeah, man.
Like sometimes the lighting and stuff and the framing is really nice looking, and you got Jodie Comer and David Harbour. Like sometimes they've got these nice high contrast, dimly lit scenes, and then sometimes it looks
they like zoom in on somebody and you're like, ugh. I mean,
like where did all the shadows on your face go, my man?
So flat.
Yeah, like sometimes you got these god rays in the scene, and sometimes I'm like, this looks like Remothered. Actually, Remothered looks better than this. So, like this guy looks terrible. Whoever this guy is, he looks like
we've had this conversation before. The better the lighting, the worse it looks.
Yep. I don't know. To me, it seems like inconsistent. Like I wish that it could all. I wish they all could be California Girls. No, I wish they could all like when it looks good enough to play.
Yeah.
It's just when it doesn't, it's like, but why? So,
this is taking too long to come out. I'm not going to want to play it anymore.
March 20th.
Too long.
And then we also got a release date trailer for Reveal, Reveal,
Reveal.
That is a circus horror game.
Yay!
You're going to the horror circus.
Yay! I hope there are clowns.
There appear to be clowns and
I'm in.
Zoltars and weird rides and like
Zoltars are cool, man.
Spooky dudes with spikes and junk.
Spiky, spooky dudes.
I thought there was something about this, but I think it just got announced at like an indie game thing.
Yeah.
But that's coming out March 6th.
Nice.
It might, you know what I might be thinking of is it might have been at I think the original reveal for this was right next to the reveal for Homebody.
Oh.
In a trailer package of horror themed stuff. So,
dude, Homebody was fun.
It was a fun game.
We played all of it.
We did. Patreon.com/RageSelect. There's a new Five Nights game coming out.
There's always a new Five Nights game coming out.
This one is interesting. Apparently it leaked. So I didn't actually know this, but apparently I didn't cover this. They were making a Five Nights game in Roblox. And they asked Scott Cawthorn if they could release a skin from it. Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, go ahead. And so they released the unfinished beta of the entire game instead of just one skin. And it was just on Roblox at that point. And people were like, so like they're getting chased by Freddy Fazbear and he's just T-posing after them.
That's hilarious. In some ways, that's also horrifying.
Yeah. But this one, apparently the trailer got leaked. But when it got leaked, Scott Cawthorn was like, hey, I'm not like it already got leaked. I wanted it to stay, but like go ahead and put it out. Like it's fine. Also, it should be everybody should remember Scott Cawthorn is now just like management of this.
Yeah. Because
there was a whole controversy of him donating to the Republican Party and Trump and stuff. And so he basically just like took his money and fucked off, but he's still like part of the company.
Yeah.
But the people making the games are not him anymore. However you feel about that, I just feel like it's worth pointing out. Mm-hmm. But this new one he's making, Amanda, not him. This new one is being made. This is the one being made by the people that made WrestleQuest. And I got to tell you, Amanda, you haven't seen this yet.
I have not.
I'm actually kind of interested because it's like a weird pixel-based side scroller.
Yeah.
And like this is some really interestingly animated like Springtrap.
To me, that's scarier than the like what we've been seeing.
So yeah, you've got like
kid is horrifying. That child character is so scared. Oh my god. The
guy's dad's getting pulled into the ball pit.
Yeah.
And he can like hide.
I don't want to hide in that
Fazbear costume.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like an interesting take that's not the same stuff I've seen. Like it still looks like it's a run and hide kind of horror adventure thing, but I like the pixel art take on it. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah. Isn't Into the Pit the name of one of the books?
Yes.
Okay.
The supposition right now is that this game is going to be the first two of the books.
Okay.
So
interesting.
I don't know.
Do you think it's enough to keep Matt Pat on Game Theory?
No.
I'm just kidding.
That dude, no. It's funny. I watched that. I haven't even talked about it. I mean, like it's, obviously you and I both watch Game Theory because we talk about it a lot. But I think it's good to be like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm passing the torch.
I think it's completely unsurprising. It's weird that people seem completely flabbergasted.
Yeah.
He sold the company. and then started talking and openly was talking about letting other people host, incorporating other people's like work and writing into the episodes, taking a back seat to being the main writer on the episodes. And then he's like, and now I'm stepping down and I will still be writing, but you'll get another host. And people were just like, what do you mean? And I'm like, did you just not listen to the other stuff he said? Or
yeah,
he's been like sunsetting out of it for like 2 years now, 3 years now.
Yeah, I think he said in his farewell video
it's
that
like 5 years in the making or something.
Like the last year, like none of the scripts, he didn't write any of the scripts. Like he was just reading them. Like
so it's just like, you guys, this has been happening the whole time. This is just the time where he tells you openly.
There's also, I mean, like the thing is that I don't do this. Like I have pulled RageSelect back to a place where it is workable. Like it doesn't take up every fucking day like it used to when we had like, you know, we're doing super awesome video game show and I was doing puppet intros for stuff and like, boy, it was just
it was
everything.
Very exhausting. And
I pulled it back to a place where it's like, I'm not burned out as long as there's games. I like hanging out with my friends and doing stuff. Like sometimes the scheduling can be a little like nerve wracking, but for the most part, I enjoy doing this and I will continue doing it. But the thing is that Matt Pat, from what I understand, was basically doing like the version of what I used to do times 10 as like a passion project.
Years,
But what nobody will tell you until you're old is that even your passion project will become work that you start to go like, damn man, am I really gonna fucking miss my friend's birthday because I got to get this video out tomorrow?
I think
like,
it all changed when he had a kid.
Yeah, also that.
You know what I mean? Like it's one thing because him and his wife work together, so it's like you don't have to worry about that relationship because you're seeing each other all the time.
Yeah.
And if you work well together, that's like great. But when you have a kid, it changes everything.
You can't go hole up in a closet and record 4 hours of VO.
Well, like a 2-year-old's not going to understand why you're fucking ditching them for shit. Like it's just crazy. So you know it makes sense. Like he's in the point in life where Rubber Ross actually had a really good video talking about how he changed his work habits to prevent that burnout.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to. Like, okay, it may not be as relevant now. Maybe we need like a Joe to come back on the scene, but like you won't want to put yourself in a situation where you listen to the song Cats in the Cradle and you're like, oh shit, I did that.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that was me. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it. I was like, I'll change tomorrow. And then your kid's grown up and you're like, oh no, oops. So.
Sad.
Speaking of kids, we got the trailer for Puppy Playtime episode 3. That's coming out pretty soon. That is January 30th. So this one takes place in like a daycare inside of the puppy plant,
world,
whatever it is. And there's a new baddo that's like these.
I love those stupid hands.
What was like a flare gun? I didn't get this far. Where it's like there's all these different weird things that you can do with the different hands. But yeah, part of it is that there's like some kind of weird cat monster that's part of this one that you're getting chased around by. I just want to slap one of these guys in the face with my extendo hands.
Yeah. Just a little,
like it's a big cat. You just no.
Yeah.
Hey.
Bop him on the nose.
Get out of here.
Do one of these hands spritz water and just get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go back to that. Jason and I played that first one and then we never got a chance to go back.
It was so funny watching you play that.
Apparently we were like 4 seconds from beating it.
That's
and then
why it's so funny.
Let's see. We got some rumors that Until Dawn is going to be coming to the PC.
Okay.
Previously, this was PS4 only.
Yeah.
But Sony's been laxing up on that. And there's also, we reported last week, there's a movie adaptation in the works from the guy that did the Shazam movies.
Okay.
Which, you know, if you're going to make any video game into a movie, the one that's practically a movie is probably the easy one.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. But then you either make a shot-for-shot remake and the people that play the game probably won't enjoy it as much as people who haven't, or you change it so much that the people who play the game will be mad, but it'll be different.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of the impression right now. I mean, like after the last 5 years of like barbarian and Skinamarink and like the
you don't
where
like
evil lurks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think you just make whatever fucking horror movie you want. People will go see it. People
fucking
they say good things about Five Nights at Freddy's.
So
okay,
I believe we've talked about this in private. I'm not 100% sure we talked about it in a podcast or a recording, but horror fans in the horror world, there is no bad horror.
Yes,
because they love everything.
Yep.
And even if you don't like certain horror, there is a group that does.
Yep.
So everything has it. Because I love Skinamarink.
Yep.
But I don't suggest it to people.
I watched Terrifier 2, and it was
I still
fine.
haven't seen Terrifier.
It was fine. People are just like, it's too gory. I'm like, they're all too gory.
Yeah.
They're all
like
too
a
gory.
horror film.
Did you watch Freddy Krueger kill people? That shit was terrifying if you took it seriously.
Oh, bitch. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Anyway,
so you're right. It will be loved no matter what.
Yeah.
But when it's an adaptation, sometimes it's just a little tougher.
also, that second Shazam movie apparently stunk on ice. I didn't even watch it.
Well, you know, I haven't watched either. I can't say anything.
Speaking of stuff coming to stuff, Final Fantasy 16 is probably coming to the Xbox.
Oh, exciting.
This is a PS5 exclusive. The exclusivity period is up in June. And there was a leaker guy on the Xbox podcast who has a good track record of leaking like accurate information who said
he knows
that,
his shit.
yeah, they're probably going to be doing it. This makes perfect sense. I mean, Square puts everything on everything with the moment they can.
Yeah.
They're contractually obligated not to, but of course they're going to, like at a certain point.
They're like, money? Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Let's see. There was a game called The Last Epoch. That was an early access, is coming to full release February 21st. This is a Diablo-style top-down ARPG.
Yeah.
I believe the gimmick for this one was that they were like really responsive to their community. So if people like wanted a feature and enough people wanted, they were just like, yeah, we'll do it.
That's cool. That's always nice.
Also, I think it's an interesting testament that Diablo 4 came out like a year ago, and it's been such a kind of messy shit show that this could take market share away from Diablo at this point.
Sure. It's pretty. It looks really nice.
I've never played it, but
I don't do top down that often, but that looks like real clean. I don't know how else to explain it.
You need like a mouse and a keyboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it looks, I mean, like a lot of particles, shit's blowing up.
Yeah.
Things are exploding.
Like fucking smooth.
Fire
and brimstone.
Yep. There was a Peggy rating that was listed briefly that shows that suggests that there might be a multiplayer spin-off from the Captain Laserhawk Ubisoft Netflix Eddie Shankar show that came out last year.
There was a lot of words in there.
Okay, so last year,
yes, sir,
Netflix put out a show called Captain Laserhawk, a Ubisoft, a Far Cry story or something like that.
Okay.
Adi Shankar basically got the team that animated Castlevania, and what they did was they made a Ubisoft mashup thing where it was like in the future, and like Captain Laserhawk is like their team leader, and he puts together a team that's like Paige and Jade from Beyond Good and Evil, and like Rayman is there. There's like a lizard Assassin's Creed guy.
Sure.
And then they do like an adventure or something. Bryce watched it and told me he liked it. I was like, I don't see how that could be possible, but like, okay.
I trust Bryce of all people.
Yes, no, that was the thing, is I was surprised because I was like, I looked at the trailer and went, surely this must be garbage. But apparently the idea here is making a multiplayer only like Far Cry spin-off in this universe competitive multiplayer game. I think that sounds like a fucking terrible idea given the number of multiplayer online shooter games that Ubisoft is already putting out. So
they like to do it.
They bet. Yes, true. It might be just real cheap. And then let's wrap it up. A few quick things to wrap up with.
Sure.
Somebody put out a little Game Boy Advance or a little Game Boy Color scene of Pokemon Concierge, that show on Netflix.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
And then some Game Boy modding group took the time to take it and then get it running on an actual Game Boy, which was apparently very difficult because it's all different. but kind of interesting. It's not an actual game. It's just this one little scene.
Yeah, but still, that's cute to be able to play it on there. I really want to watch that, but I don't want Netflix.
Yeah. I'm going to skip this one, and we're going to wrap it up with the rumor that apparently the next Lego thing from Nintendo could be Zelda, and it could be the Great Deku Tree. This was rumored for a while, but there's some insider chatter about this, and apparently last year Nintendo was DMCAing anybody that talked about it on YouTube. So, yep. And that's it.
Nice.
We went a little over even for my new format. But,
Oops, always with me.
Yeah, I gotta cut even further. I just had so much to say about Palworld.
Oh yeah,
Palworld. Patreon.com/RageSelect is not the Palworld Discord, but it is the RageSelect Discord. So
yeah,
you should
we
come
might
there.
start a server for Palworld.
I'm thinking really heavily in the yes direction on that.
Nice.
So I don't know. We'll see. But with that, we're done.
Bye.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.